and welcome back to the Funfiltered podcast. I am joined as ever by Eddie.
Hello.
And Jordan.
Hello.
Starting high energy today.
You are?
It's over now.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I got a question for you.
Okay. Well, I want a bit of context before you ask that question.
Okay.
We're in a position for the first time, maybe, well, not ever, but like the second or third time, where we are caught up with reality.
Yeah, there's nothing really current going on to talk about.
Well, no.
In our sphere.
No, we're going to touch.
Yeah, in our sphere, there's nothing current going on.
Yeah. So just bear that in mind.
You might get out unscathed, listeners. This might only be like 50 minutes long, this podcast.
Or this might be the best podcast ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No pressure.
It won't be.
The pressure's on you as well, you know.
Oh, I know.
You're also here.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
But, you know, it's like a band, isn't it? If one of you fail, you all fail.
Yeah.
And group failure is more, you know, tolerable.
Is that one of the worst... What's the worst thing to say to your band members as you're about to go on stage? No pressure's probably up there, right?
What member of the band are you?
Oh yeah, I suppose that does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you say to like the bassist, no pressure. It's like no.
Well, no,
there's
it's
never
like,
pressure.
No, for instance, if the singer says my fingers have ceased working, that's not a problem.
Yeah. Oh God,
if the
no.
bassist says it, it's more of a problem.
It is a bit more of a problem.
The guy on the accordion that's like, oh,
or something.
We're fucked.
Something that could apply an accordion.
The accordionist in the band.
Why not?
You guys ready to go on? No, our harpsichordist has he's fucked his fingers.
He's OD.
Yeah. He's OD.
Went from 0 to 100 real quick.
The cellist is on mescaline.
Is something that would apply to any band member. Like if any band member said
the worst thing to say
one of the worst
stage.
Worst things to say.
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard question. No pressure is generally... It's never said sincerely, is it?
No.
No pressure is someone provides context and then jokingly says no pressure.
Yeah.
So, you're the first band to perform in this venue for 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're responsible for keeping it afloat. No pressure.
Yeah.
It's, you know... Have you ever heard someone earnestly say no pressure? But really, there is zero pressure. I just kicked something straight away. But you know, blah, blah, blah. But no pressure. And I mean that.
Well, no, if taken sincerely, then it's genuinely like, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know.
That's what no pressure means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are like, you know, you walk into a shift and it's been a shit show and people are going, oh, I mean, it's been a shit show, but you know, no pressure, it'll be fine.
Right.
That pisses me off.
Well, that doesn't seem sincere to me.
No, but
that's like, it's been a shit shift, I finished. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Now you
which knowing me would, well, yeah.
You would say it, wouldn't you? You've said it, Eddie. You say people have said it. You fucking said it to people.
I have said it.
Yeah.
No, but like people say, but like shit like that will stress me out.
Right.
And then I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah. I just don't like it because it's a cliche. No pressure, and you do that British like ha 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 laugh. Ha. It's that beige humour.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a friend who's literal like we is basically his tagline or his catchphrase.
No pressure.
You
should come up with an original catchphrase.
Is no worries, I'll sort it.
No worries, I'll sort it.
Very rarely does he sort it. And usually it's something that's rather...
It does feel like a denial.
Yeah.
It like you wouldn't have to make that your catchphrase if you genuinely sorted stuff all the time.
Is it like footballers? You know when footballers, instead of saying footballers are like at the end of the day.
The end of the day.
Yeah. I was kicking the ball and at the end of the day, you know, all I needed to do was kick the ball at the end of the day.
I did it.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
I can be proud.
Is that his equivalent? Where he's just talking to you. It's just like, so Eddie, I was at the... I've forgotten what he said. What did he say? What's the catchphrase?
No worries, I'll sort it.
So Eddie, I was at the No Worries, I'll Sort It cafe.
Is that the name of the cafe?
The No Worries, I'll Sort It cafe.
Yeah. I think it's important to be mindful of your own kind of verbal tics. And as I say, okay, all right. So I'll ask a question and someone will provide the answer. Say it's like, you know, an answer I didn't expect or, I don't know, in some way subverts expectations. I go, okay, all right. It's always the two of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I notice I do that. Have you two noticed? I guess the listeners are the best judges of this.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I say crock of shit quite regularly.
Yeah, I think we called you out on that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Argue the toss. That's something you say fairly regularly.
A shoom. You pronounce assume with an SH.
He's eschewing assume.
Yeah.
Assume. Sean Connery.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. Whenever someone says, "Oh, you sound like Sean Connery," everyone goes, "Yes." You did the complete opposite. You just went, "Yes."
I know.
What about you, Joel? What's your verbal tick?
Oh, I don't know.
Other than like, which every Welsh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think outside of
Yeah.
saying things like and shit like that. I think so. That's something I want to curb.
Right.
Where someone will ask me a question or ask me to explain something, I'll go, so blah 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 blah.
Right.
I think it's just like it's a way of like leading into.
Yeah, it's your foundation.
Yeah.
Prepping it. Yeah.
But I think that's another thing that a lot of people do.
So.
Yeah. It's like, so what did you do last night? Oh, so I was at the store.
Yeah. Well, it's like telling a story, isn't it? It's a word of consequence, isn't it?
Yeah.
So. This is what happened.
Yes, but it's sort of it's like when you write a CV and they say never start every sentence with the word I. It's like I am this, I am that, I am that.
Yeah.
I've noticed that where it's like most stories begin with so blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's something that I want to. That one was okay. So it's something that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I kind of want to curb. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
You say kind of wanna as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I kind of want to say.
Yeah. He won't just say, "Oh, I kind of like do this," or "I want to do this." It's kind of wanna.
Right.
Yeah.
You do say those together.
I'm uber clarifying. I'm like being like I'm this many steps removed from being certain of it. Yeah.
I kind of wanna. I'm in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an ongoing, not struggle, but kind of lament for me in life. I want to get to a place where I'm always talking in perfectly grammatical sentences. Where if you read what I'm saying written down, it would read like a book.
Yeah, it wouldn't read like written speech. Yeah,
it wouldn't read like and all these qualifications and silence fillers. I know that's impossible.
You do mix up your silence fillers though. Like you do you do like, you do and.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm varied.
Yeah.
I'm versatile.
Yeah, it's all the same principle.
Yeah.
It's like you'll say a point and then pause and then continue to say the point, but it's you'll get. It's like you never know what you're gonna get.
My hedges
exciting.
My hedges are versatile.
Yeah.
I'm a master of topiary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's the question?
My question to both of you is: what is the best possible name for a dragon?
Weirdly enough, we've had this conversation before.
Have we?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know, but I think I have an answer.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why I have an answer.
What's your answer?
Is that my answer?
Well, it is your answer.
No. I'm trying to think of why. Right, my head went to Betty, but I have no idea why, and I feel like I've answered that question before.
Right.
A dragon. I don't know. Let me think about that. Eddie.
Okay.
I mean, Gwendolyn was the name of my head.
Gwendolyn.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn was the name of my dragon, so I would.
That was the name of my head.
Okay.
I mean, it's Draco, isn't it?
Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a right answer. Draco is not the right answer.
It is.
Why is it the right answer?
Well, I'm pretty sure it derives from the same root.
What was to say? Dragomir.
Dragomir.
That's the thing. They're always, like Black Scale or
Well, it's 'cause they're dragons.
Shundabach or something like that.
Yeah.
But no.
Well,
or in Game
Keith today.
Or in Game of Thrones, it was Drogon.
Or Betty, as
Betty.
you've settled on.
But why that though? Oh, I think that weirdly enough that derives from the idea that the royal family were reptiles, and so Elizabeth gave way to Betty.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what that was.
Okay, all right.
I mean, fuck it, Betty. Yeah.
I would say to be fair, I mean the kids show was Barney the purple dinosaur, so Betty just checks.
Barney's I don't know, a bit less parochial than Betty. Weirdly enough, because they're the couple in the Flintstones, aren't they?
Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
Not Betty Crocker. What's her name?
Rubble, yeah.
No, it was Betty Rubble.
Well, presumably.
Oh yeah, it probably would be,
it's
wouldn't
his
it?
wife, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not living in sin.
Okay, ignore me.
I mean, Draco, Drogon, Dragon, shit like that. Like, that's what they should be called, right? Why? What do you think the perfect name for a dragon is?
Bernie Cinders.
Bernie Cinders.
Yeah.
Is the dragon a socialist?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what's so great about the name. Not only is it a pun,
right,
but it implies character.
Yes.
Because dragons hoard their wealth, whereas socialists don't. They spread the wealth.
Okay.
So he's conflicted, Bernie Cinders.
Or it's like an irony.
Yeah.
It's ironic.
Yeah.
So does he hoard his wealth, or is he a socialist dragon?
Well,
is that what separates him from the other dragons?
I always assumed that he was conflicted.
He was conflicted.
Yeah, like he knew, like, oh, I am a dragon, you know.
I must hoard my gold.
Yeah.
But also my name is Bernie Cinders.
Yeah, my parents for some reason call me that.
But dragons are ancient, right? So he's older than Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders is named after the dragon.
Oh yeah, he would be, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not the surname.
Typical socialist, just taking everything.
Taking everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Bernie Cinders.
Bernie Cinders.
What got you on this particular train of thought?
How long did that take you to come up with?
Well, I've had this in my head since like episode 16.
Okay.
I think I was
waiting for an organic.
Yeah, I was genuinely. It's like,
He's waited 12 episodes.
I was just in the spa. Like this was like in the throes of full lockdown.
Right.
I was just walking around spa and that popped into my head and I laughed out loud in the shop.
Yourself?
Yeah, in the shop.
Bernie
Like,
Sanders.
I'll bring that up on the podcast, but we've always had shit to talk about.
Yeah.
So now that we don't, it's Bernie Sanders' time to shine.
Okay.
And none of you even laughed.
Well, it's not.
You just kind of smiled and went, "Okay, explain yourself."
Well, it's not a laugh out loud joke, is it?
I thought it was.
I think if it occurs to you, like, oh, what a silly thing I just thought.
Yeah.
You might laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. The thing will occur to me. There's something the other day, I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, and I'll just laugh out loud because, like, why did you think that? I think if you're explaining it's wordplay. So it is a clap joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well done. I can't imagine anyone guffawed at Bernie Sanders. And if they are, they're probably retarded.
Oh dear. Okay.
Right? I mean, they're smart enough to understand the wordplay. But if you're like hooting, you know, at Bernie Sanders, you probably need your head checked. I concede it's good.
Okay.
I'm not trying to detract from the...
Well, you have. Whether you meant to or not.
You just told him he needs to go and see a doctor.
You basically just called me retarded. I laughed. I laughed when I
clarified that if you thought of it and laughed, that's okay. It's anybody else that...
I see. Okay.
Everyone else is the problem for a change.
I see. Okay. For change?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought we slagged off everybody quite regularly.
Yeah, but I'm all about like taking personal responsibility. You know what I mean?
A nice noise. It's like, first time hearing of it.
Yeah, is that skepticism that I detect?
No.
Oh, come on. That's part of the big guns.
That's what's great about it. If you're reading the transcript of this, Eddie hasn't done anything wrong.
No, I know.
But purely in his voice,
Yeah.
you're just fucking with him now, Eddie.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I did it again. See? I said, okay, alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get paranoid about that.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to record this episode, are we? Because we're all just going to be like, don't say the thing. Don't say the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. You want to talk about a film?
Oh, we're jumping into that.
We'll jump into that.
There are no.
Why not?
There are no floaters. There are no.
That is a floater.
That is a floater.
Well, it depends how dense your... Alright, we'll postpone it.
Okay.
Have you heard there are aliens now?
Are these the floaters?
These are the floaters.
Because I have a name for the
Literally,
floaters.
because they're UFOs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You heard of them aliens they got now?
Yeah, down in that London.
Yeah. No, I have a name for... If this is going to become a recurring segment where it's just like, you know, tidbits, and I have a name for the segment going forward, because you've taken to calling them floaters, which we've proven is a divisive issue on this
I don't know.
podcast.
We haven't taken a poll. Like, only... Do you think it's poop? Of poop, rather?
Well, it made me laugh.
Okay. You think it's...
And as we know, only poop makes Eddie laugh.
Poop. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The word cock.
Or the word cock.
Poop and cock.
Or
Yeah.
the poop cock. It's anal sex. You must find hilarious. Just look what I'm doing. I'm going to poop on my cock. There's something funny about something as innocent as poop next to the word cock.
Yeah.
I'm going to poop on my
it's
cock.
profane.
Yeah. I'm going to have excrement on my dinky. You know? Doesn't quite work.
I don't know if I can say this on the podcast.
You have to.
Yeah.
You keep doing this.
That's something I do say. No, because it occurs in my mind as like a tangent to that.
Right.
And then I'm like, can I say that? Because it's not something to do with me.
Right.
Right.
Just don't name names.
Yeah. No. So my mate had anal sex for the first time this year, and like he was hammered, but he insists that he was like, oh, I didn't realise I was putting it in the wrong hole, essentially, as he would say.
Right.
Did the other person?
Well, they were both very hammered and seemed to just go with it.
Right. Okay. So I feel like the other person would know first if it was in the wrong place.
But he said that the only reason he knew was because all of a sudden he could smell baby poo.
Baby poo.
That was like the smell he like resonated with.
Is this story gonna get dark?
No.
You know what, Eddie? Maybe you shouldn't have said this. If this is where it's going.
They're both in their mid-20s.
Okay. Your friend wasn't having anal sex with the baby.
No.
Okay. Good. Good on him.
It's not like
you know what?
Not everyone is Ian Watkins, you know.
I think that's like an undivisive. We can all agree that's probably a good thing.
It's not on.
Yeah. It's not. Well.
No, hang on.
Yeah.
What's a good thing?
We just disagreed with each other.
What's a good thing?
Not having sex with babies.
Okay, right.
That is a good thing.
Yes. I'm saying having sex with them is not on.
Yes.
Just to clarify to the litigators.
Yes.
But he said that was like the smell he noticed was like, but he equated the smell to a baby poo rather than just poo. And I was like, right, but you've all just told us this?
Yeah.
That, like,
do you know you've said that out loud?
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Okay.
Are there... Yeah. I didn't know the poo smelled different the older you got.
I think it does smell different. I mean, I
know different types.
Different person to person.
Well, no, different types of poo smell different. Like a meaty poo smells different than a vegetable.
It smells like meat.
Yeah.
It
smells different than a vegetable poo.
It smells like vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did we get onto talking about shit?
Well, here's the thing. Obviously it differs person to person, and it differs intra-person as well as inter, doesn't it? Like your own poo smells different. Depending on...
Yeah, well, everyone has a different diet, don't they? So it's all informed by different factors.
But yeah, I think there is a distinction between baby poo and general poo.
Right.
General poo sounds like a...
Yeah, I was thinking that,
General poo sounds like a Chinese... a warlord. General poo.
Lieutenant Poo on the deck.
There is, right? What's the word for a baby's first poop? There's a word for it. Because it's all the gunk... from,
a memory.
They poo a memory.
No. Like it's like, a baby's first poo. That's like a memory.
Oh, a memory. I see. No, there's a. I don't know if I will go as far as scientific.
Do I have to Google?
Please do. Name for baby's first poo.
Let's go incognito.
It's all the in utero gunk, isn't it? Coming out.
Right.
It's not albumin. That's egg white.
Yeah, that's a different.
That's a different thing.
Meconium.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I didn't even know that word existed, let alone what it was.
Well, you know.
So...
Sam's Lexicorner can also incorporate pre-existing terms.
I see. Okay.
That's not Sam's Lexicorner, though.
No.
Aliens exist now.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard about this?
When did this happen?
Recently.
Okay.
So, there was... Have you guys seen the Navy? The videos from the Navy? The 3 videos of unidentified flying objects?
No.
So I think news of it, I don't know whether it was leaked or something, was doing the rounds, and then they just made it public to clear up any misconceptions, was the term they used.
Okay.
And, it's not, you always expect to see something close encounters shit on these videos, and obviously it never is. But, it is just this, disc thing in the middle of the sky, and it's moving in a very bizarre... anti-gravitational kind of way.
Okay.
And it's kind of not corresponding to the wind, so it's kind of going against the wind and shit. It's kind of weird, but it's not like majorly, oh my god. And then there's like a video of this tiny white speck like shooting across the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Things like that. But it has recently come to pass that this like UFO unit at the Pentagon, whose job it is to investigate this stuff, I guess, they are making their reports public, which they do every few months, I think, or every half a year. I'm just going to read you the story that's on The Independent. A Pentagon UFO unit will make some investigations public as ex-advisors suggest that, quote, vehicles not made on this Earth were placed in US government storage. The team will update the US Senate's Intelligence Committee on its unidentified flying object research every 6 months. Publicly named in 2019 as the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, the Pentagon unit succeeded an investigative UFO program that was said to have disbanded prior to 2017. One former official, Eric Davis, told The Times that he briefed the US Department of Defense in March about the retrieval of, quote, off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
Right.
So there's this thing that's coming out about they found these vehicles, and there was this guy called Bob Lazar. I want to kind of slot in here that I don't know how valid all this is, but it's being talked about quite a bit.
Okay.
More than this usual UFO nonsense is.
Yeah.
There's this guy called Bob Lazar who in the 80s came forward and said that he worked at this kind of secret research lab, and his job was to reverse engineer spacecraft, basically.
Right.
Off-world vehicles. His job, they would bring in these ships or whatever, and his job was to try and figure out how to build them, from the design they had. And he was like debunked and said, you're a nutter and all this sort of stuff. But basically nothing he said has been disproven. Now, that's not to say that, that's good cause for belief. But like the place he worked, there are all these little indicators. Like there's no record of him anywhere, of even having been born.
Right.
And he kind of was a whistleblower with all this stuff, and he was just kind of cast aside. But now it sounds like what he's saying is true.
Okay.
So it looks like on this planet there are off-world vehicles not made.
Right.
So if you thought the year was already quite weird,
well, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there was a point earlier in the year. I can't remember what was happening in America, but America did just turned around and just like tried to hide whatever was going on. But went, oh yeah, by the way, here's a picture of aliens.
Right.
And like, it was literally just a picture of like a picture of like a UFO in the sky, but it like that seemed to be their like tactic, was like, oh
yeah, like distraction.
Aliens exist.
Yeah. God, it must be dire when the distraction is, yeah, there are aliens.
It's bad when the distraction is, all right, so Area 51, that thing we've all right, so you were right.
All the conspiracy theories, they're all right, okay? They're all correct.
I killed JFK.
So what do you guys think about all that stuff, generally speaking?
Well, it's a bit... Yeah, I don't really know. I still don't, even though there's like an official document that implies that there are at least, not off-world beings, but there are off-world vehicles, presumably built by off-world beings.
You think?
I don't quite believe that.
I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems like it'd be the biggest thing ever, right?
Literally everyone would be talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the biggest news ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I do quite like the idea. It is a thing in the back of my mind. I've always gone, well, surely we can't be the only people. But I did also have in the back of my mind that if like, say we meet an alien, I don't believe they are going to look like every stereotypical.
Oh, no.
And I'm just imagining the, like, we're walking down the street and it's just a guy called Dave who looks exactly like us.
Right.
But actually he was born on Mars or something like that.
I think that's a stretch.
No, but like, they look fairly similar.
Okay, I don't know.
The only thing with that though, Eddie, is that look at planet Earth. Look at the range of life that exists on planet Earth. You have humans, and then you have like giant squid, and then you have giraffes. Like one planet has produced all of these different organisms. So the likelihood of an alien from another planet looking like us is so minuscule.
Yeah, but like I think that would be a really funny image if like, someone lands, they're from a different planet.
We're waiting for this massive reveal.
Massive real, like someone with three heads.
Cosmic crack.
Yeah.
And then just a guy walks out and it's like, yeah, something.
Well, that's the thing. It's so like within the realm of science fiction that you just can't envision it ever happening. That a craft would land and they would emerge and we would meet and try and communicate. It's just so bizarre. I think if that ever happened, my mind would just kind of break a bit. It's like, this is happening.
Yeah. There is genuinely,
This is really happening,
Well, I think I said when Paul came out that, like, if it turned out that there have been aliens, like, on the planet for a long time, and actually that's where, like, they look like that because they've been advising the people for, like, ages. Turns out E.T. was legitimately based on. I'd be like, oh.
I don't know. I'm like skeptical about they're here already and all that sort of thing. I've always thought that billions of infinite galaxies and planets, that at least one of them somewhere must have the necessary prerequisites for life. And I have heard and read a lot since then that basically debunks that intuition. It's like, I know it seems realistic.
Yeah, but like the percentage of us existing is so minute.
Exactly.
It couldn't possibly be replicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Just life, anyway. So even though the intuition is, it must be somewhere, like, logically, not necessarily. And probably not. But at the same time, it's not one of those things that I just think, that I write off as completely impossible.
Yeah.
If it turns out that there have been UFOs visiting this planet from time to time for whatever reason, I would be open to it. I'd be open to believing it.
That's the thing that scares me, though, is that most people wouldn't be open to it.
Right.
Because that's the worry, isn't it? Like, if aliens turn up, then presumably they're more... The fact that they've been able to travel...
To get here.
That alone is indication that they are superior to us.
More advanced,
whether it's they're more advanced or superior intelligence, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously the natural human anxiety is, what if they've come to pillage us or to invade us or stuff like that?
Well, yeah.
And I'm worried that would, like, even if the alien had honest intentions, we would be scared that they didn't. So we would sort of trigger something that caused bad things to happen, basically, regarding the alien.
I would love to see an alien in Ponty, though.
A preemptive,
Just an alien walking into the tumble.
You say that as if not seeing like an American in Ponty is a novelty. Like literally anyone outside of Wales in Ponty is a novelty.
I met 2 Mormons, Salt Lake City Mormons.
Were they lost?
Yeah, but why are they in Ponty?
It was weird when I came to Ponty.
Yeah,
their church is like a few streets away. It's near this house, and an American saying Ponty is kind of unacceptable. So we've been here in Ponty for a few years now, and
I told bless them, they don't know.
No, I told them that I would meet them to have a further discussion about their faith, because I enjoy those kinds of conversations, but I just didn't go. I told them to meet me in an underpass, and then I was in a car driving past it. At the time I was supposed to meet them, and they were there in the underpass waiting, so I felt a bit bad.
Oh.
But oh well. They thought they were going to convert me.
Not as bad as when the Ponty drug dealers turned up and beat them up for being on their turf.
No.
If you made them meet under an underpass of all places.
It's that underpass with all the murals.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly like... I'm wary of being just like a shit muncher or a cow chewing the cud here, of like, oh my god, the aliens, without having done like any research into it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But another thing that I read was this Bob Lazar. Apparently, he speculated that the thing that would be necessary to fuel the craft that he was either working on or had seen or something would have to be this like anti-gravitational element.
Okay.
Yeah, with a certain chemical formulation. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Basically, since he speculated that back in the 80s, that element now exists on the periodic table.
Oh, right.
It's element 115 on the periodic table.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
it's like everything you're saying is sort of coming to pass. So I don't want to be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
This could just be, people in the know are like, you're basically just like, you're a truther. You're like a 9/11 truther.
That's the insidious thing about conspiracy theories, isn't it? It's not that it's that between all the outlandish statements, there is truth in there. There are elements of truth in there. If not truth, then plausibility.
Okay.
Well, it's that thing though with Area 51. There's no smoke without fire. Surely there has...
I think that's that's fallacious though.
Oh no! But I'm saying with Area 51 in particular, whatever they are doing there, the fact that everyone has attached it to the notion of aliens and stuff like, if they're coming out and saying now that there are vehicles from off-world, I'm going to be like, right, well that has to be the place.
I think it was a different... He wasn't working there. He was working somewhere else. Like I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very specific location. Yeah, in Area 51, they say they test B-2 bombers or U-2 bombers or something like that. Yeah, I think I understand why where there's smoke, there's fire is a thing, and it seems clever. But I think it's one of those aphorisms that increasingly just evaporates on contact with air. Because I think that's mostly not true. Any person who's ever been... This is getting dark. Any person who's ever been falsely accused of rape will tell you that that's a completely bullshit thing.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think most situations people say where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
There are loads of contributing factors to something, like 9/11 was an inside job. What is the fire? What is the smoke there? Other than
the building.
The inferno.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's not very classy of you, Sam, was it?
Didn't... Come on now. What is the okay, let's just go with the US did it.
I think the two main things that I remember is that it gave America an excuse to go into the Middle East, which is something they really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But they couldn't. So basically,
they were looking for a reason to go into the Middle
staging
East,
an act of war.
It
gave them the excuse.
I don't know that they were looking for a reason to go into the Middle East. I think the supposition is that they really wanted to go into the Middle East.
Okay,
and this was their way of doing it.
This is just what I've heard.
Yeah. No, all I'm saying is I don't think a prerequisite condition, a precondition, was that America before that were really looking to go into the Middle East.
Right.
I think that's what people have said after the fact.
Well, I will say, I don't know about America. I think England were
looking to get into the Middle East. Well, like with troops.
No, just because they wanted
oil. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I think that was an English thing. I don't know about America.
Yeah,
I think that was already an established thing.
They wanted to go there, and this was their way of justifying it.
Yeah. But and there's that. Yes, there's that, and the other one is the way the towers fell. Like no natural demolition would cause that to happen because it was it looked like such a controlled demolition.
Well, it's the burning point of steel that always gets brought up.
Yeah,
like it just wouldn't burn.
But I mean, like surely they would have planned for this when they were building the buildings, not for a 9/11, but if these buildings were to ever collapse. They would probably design it so the buildings would go straight down, so as to not damage any of the buildings in its path. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
like it's 100 floors high. If it fell sideways, it'd wipe out streets of buildings.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, like, take in like Grenfell, for example. I mean, that was down to a cladding that they used cheap.
Yeah.
But if it turned out that 9/11 it was legitimately that, but it turned out that the buildings hadn't been made with something proper.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why they felt like they did, or whatever. That I could completely believe that they just botched making a building.
I would doubt that a building buildings as kind of monumental as the Twin Towers were done on the cheap. But I know what you're saying. Like if it turned out that the reason it happened the way it happened is because of a design flaw rather than we're deliberately demolishing this building. Yeah. I can see that.
I get all that stuff about it's a bit scary. They wanted to get oil and therefore this and blah 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 blah. It's more like any question should just completely debunk that.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't seem to. So like with my grandfather was one of these people, right? Unfortunately, I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, but a lot of conspiracy theorizing comes from, wouldn't it be cool if life was like a film and the government was behind all this shit, and whereas the truth is the government is just kind of incompetent. We're all in agreement that planes flew into the towers, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go with that particular conspiracy theory that does allow for that. Okay. Because some say there weren't even any planes. Yeah.
Well, what?
Either that there weren't planes and they were holograms. This is real shit, right? This is genuinely real shit. Holograms.
Hard-light holograms that would destroy a building?
Yeah, well, right. So bombs inside, but timed at the same time the hologram flew.
Right.
I know. It's out there stuff, right?
I mean, yeah. There's footage of the planes.
I know. Doctored.
Oh, yeah, but so is the moon landing.
So is the moon landing.
Yeah, of course.
But let's go with the idea that the planes did fly into the Twin Towers. Why would you bother having controlled demolition at the bottom?
Yeah.
Do one of the two, because you can still have the controlled demolition that brings the towers down. Say, the bombs were planted by terrorists.
Yeah, but a plane is less deniable.
It is, but if you're gonna,
or you think people are denying it clearly, but
don't do both. If you're gonna have the plane fly,
you would do the bombs would probably be like a failsafe, right? But did the plane will be enough to destroy the tower? Oh, it wasn't. Oh, thank God we planted those bombs.
Let's say that the end is that we want to justify an invasion of. Well, it was actually Afghanistan, which was a justified invasion.
Yeah.
But then it was later Iraq.
Okay.
Well, we want to somehow get to Iraq, okay?
Yeah.
Which 9/11 wasn't even used as a justification for. That was WMDs. But anyway, we want to get to Iraq for the oil. We therefore need to stage an attack on US soil.
Yeah.
Where we can blame those people.
Yeah.
Why did the towers need to come down? Two planes flying into the Twin Towers and the Pentagon and wherever the other one was going to go.
Yeah.
That's enough. I don't need the towers to have come down to have gone, we need to go into Iraq now. That would have done me. They killed thousands of people.
Yeah.
That'll do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't need to have the controlled demolition.
Also the thing with that idea, though, is, like, I'm not being funny, a lot of people worked at the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Someone surely would have fucking seen some demolition stuff lying
like
around.
in the basement.
Yeah. Oh no, they paid off everyone who worked in the World Trade Center.
You say that. That's
Some
part,
of it-
I know. That's why I said it the way I said it.
Yeah.
Some of whom willingly died
for the cause.
for the cause. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do that though. To be fair,
They do that. Like, they couldn't keep Bill Clinton's affairs a secret.
Yeah, that's my go-to thing.
You know?
Two people can't
No.
keep something a secret.
No, but
how do you expect hundreds or thousands?
Yeah.
My thing, like, if you're going to look at all this, like JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald probably did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
JFK is a fascinating one because it's doable, but the odds are so low.
Yeah.
You know?
What now?
The fact that Lee Harvey Oswald making
Don't
that
sully
shot.
his name.
That man is a hero! Killed the best president we ever had. Yeah, him making that shot is so unlikely, but it is doable.
Oh, yeah. But
Well, I mean, if you're a sniper,
yeah.
But he wasn't, right? Was that one of the things? One of the conspiracy
they
theories
might-
is that he was a terrible shot.
but they must have trained.
He was a terrible. The idea was supposed to be that he was a terrible shot.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of him hitting it was what made it more implausible.
Yes.
But I mean, every terrible shot, generally speaking, will hit a bullseye once.
Yeah. The law of
Stop
probability
clock.
will eventually
Yeah.
be on your side.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think. Like,
It was really on his side.
yeah, like, no, but like I think because they talk about like Jack Ruby is someone else, and there's the theory that those two knew each other, and I think that is completely plausible. I do think that is plausible, but I also think when it comes to JFK, given the amount of people that they suspect, with that, I think people knew where he was going to be, and I think it was the kind of place where enough people could have easily all planned to do it on the same day.
I do think it's possible that there were multiple shooters in waiting.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see how that is that
The
far.
grassy knoll, right?
grassy
knoll.
That's a suspected.
Yeah.
The actual kill shot came from the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
I don't see how that is because you would.
Yeah.
You have a few
Although
backups
my
in case.
favourite theory was that it was his wife, and she just shot him in the car.
Oh,
That
really?
is my
Okay.
favourite theory.
It's any and everything, isn't it, these people?
Never mind the fact that the car was open top and that everyone would have seen her get out a gun
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like shoot him. My favourite one is Red Dwarf, that episode of Red Dwarf where it's revealed that JFK shot himself. Like, they go back in time. What's the story? The episode is like, they run out of Vindaloo. Because, do either of you know Red Dwarf?
No.
Very loosely.
Well, the basic setup is there's this they're on this mining vessel in space. This guy, as punishment, goes into suspended animation, but there's like this attack or something that wipes out the crew, so he's left in suspended animation for millions of years. Comes out, he's the last living human being, and his companions are a descendant of his cat, which has evolved into a human.
Right.
A hologram of like his boss that he hated, and this robot that they pick up in series 2. That's the basic set of the Red Dwarf.
Okay.
Now the human Lister, he loves Vindaloos. That's his like running thing. He's curry mad, and they've run out of curries, so they decide to go back in time to get more curries for him.
Right.
And they end up in what was the name of the building that Lee Harvey Oswald was in?
I'm not
It
sure.
was the book depository.
The book
Book
depository.
depository.
That's it.
Yeah.
They go to that building and accidentally knock him out the window.
Right.
So JFK never dies.
Right.
And then it shows a future where JFK lives, where his affairs came out and he was disgraced and he was sent to prison.
Yeah.
So they take JFK back in time to shoot himself,
Okay.
so that so that future still happens.
Right.
That's such a funny idea.
Yeah.
So aliens.
So they're aliens now. So fuck our world.
Yeah.
We might be on the brink of war with another.
Oh, it's been a cheery old This has been the conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy corner.
Yeah.
It does feel like, in a way, an inevitable outcome of 2020, where things just keep ratcheting up. Like, you know what? Yeah, there are aliens, and they're coming to kill you.
That was the meme for the longest time, wasn't it? That
Was it?
2020 will end with aliens, and
it
it
is.
may very well, by the looks of it. Yeah.
At this point, if we don't get an arc where all the animals go on 2 by 2 by the end of the year.
Well, there's an exodus everywhere. Everyone is moving. So the people I follow, I don't follow this person. I won't specify that, but it's because I read the article today. You know, Tommy Robinson, former head of the EDL.
Of the what?
EDL, the English Defence League.
Okay.
You don't know anything about this? The EDL is a
How do you not know who Tommy Robinson is?
That is odd.
I don't know. I just sit at home playing Sonic games and editing podcasts. That's my life.
Fair enough, that's why.
Yeah.
The EDL it's still going, but it's a kind of street protest movement against. Where did he live? Tommy Robinson. Luton. He lived in Luton.
Right.
And Luton has been. It's now a very Muslim area.
Okay.
And they were protesting not Muslims, but the culture around it that was kind of imposing.
I see.
I don't want to get into all that.
Yeah.
But that's what it was for. But it sort of started to become a haven for the far right nutters. And he had a conversation with, Majid Nawaz. Is that too much to ask?
The name is familiar, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Majid Nawaz is a former extremist radical Muslim who reformed and is now like the preeminent voice of moderating and reforming Islam.
Okay.
He and Sam Harris wrote a book together.
Right, okay.
Majid Nawaz was recently in the news because, have you heard about this thing that's happening in China? That they are sterilizing Muslims?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
I think they're called Uyghur or Uyghur Muslims. It's a certain, and they're being shipped off in trains to be sterilized.
Right.
And no one's talking about it.
Okay.
So he went on hunger strike.
It's happening again. Why are we not...
Right.
Yeah, why are we not doing anything
Because it's China.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so he went on hunger strike about that. So he's been in the news recently. But it has, to be fair, it's now garnered some media attention because of that. And it's worked its way up to John Oliver. I think he was talking about it.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. But anyway, Tommy Robinson had a chat with Majid Nawaz. And Majid Nawaz convinced him, you need to leave the organisation you founded because it's not what you want it to be anymore. And he did. He stepped down.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's still going, but it's far right kind of militaristic thing now.
Yeah.
But Tommy Robinson has been the subject of attacks, abuse. He went to prison for something. I think it was like tax related, or not turning up to court on something like that. And they tried to murder him in prison. Muslim gang tried to murder him in prison with the guards' cooperation.
Okay.
The guard led him into an environment where they could murder him.
Oh, right.
And he fought them off and defended himself. But his house was attacked recently by BLM protesters.
I see.
And he went to Spain. He can't come back now because of the quarantine.
Oh, right.
In Spain. But he's moved to Spain. He said, I've got to get out of this country because I'm going to be killed.
Okay.
So he and his family now live in Spain. Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin are moving to Texas because Los Angeles is becoming a write-off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everyone's moving. So there's like a mass exodus happening all over the world.
Right.
Where these areas that have just been completely let down by their mayors because they've let these people run rampant. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
People are tapping out and just moving. So that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose this kind of covers like moving in a sense in terms of it talks about someone coming back to the UK.
Right.
Have you heard about the latest with Shamima Begum?
I know the one. Yeah. No, I haven't. I know she's been allowed to come back.
So yeah, she's allowed to come back and fight for her citizenship now.
Yeah.
That's this month. That's quite fairly recent.
In this sphere, we might as well throw in some good news. It was quite a while ago now, but Malala.
Yeah.
What?
You did. Sure, you keep up with anything.
Jordan, I live in a bubble and do basically fuck all.
Right.
I still know everything he's talking about.
Malala Yousafzai.
Who's Balala?
I wouldn't go on that road. Malala Yousafzai is a young Muslim girl who was shot by the Taliban in the head, I think.
Oh, right.
For seeking an education.
Right.
And she then became a symbol of women's empowerment in the Muslim world.
Oh, okay.
She has recently graduated from either Oxford or Cambridge.
Oh, wow.
So that's some good news.
Okay. Nice. Okay. My apologies.
Malala,
are you satisfied? I didn't mean to besmirch your name like
besmirching her name.
Yeah.
Right. Should we talk about the film you want to talk
Right, okay.
I was looking at like the little floaters I've got, and obviously you just done like a nice like positive little thing.
Yeah.
Basically all of mine are negative.
That's fine, this is the negative part. But you said you had a name, didn't you?
Yes, I do have a name. Byte Sighs.
Jordan. Byte Sighs.
Byte Sighs.
Okay.
BITESIGHS. Byte Sighs.
One more time.
Byte Sighs.
No, yeah, spell it out.
BITE.
Yeah.
SIGHS.
S-I-G... Byte Sighs. B-Y-T-E.
Yeah.
Why?
Computer. Podcast. Byte. Like a,
No, well, I meant...
byte.
Yeah, okay, I suppose that works.
Yeah.
Byte Sighs.
Because, it's bite-sized, because they're, like, small. I
Yeah.
mean, this hasn't been small.
No.
But they're, like, little nuggets of news.
Yeah.
We're like, let's mention this.
Yeah.
And usually, we don't approve of it. So, bite-sized.
Byte Sighs.
That's,
okay.
that's the name of this segment going forward.
Yeah.
So it's a segment, because I always thought this is all the stuff pre-segment. This is the I think we want to
it's now a segment.
I know
That's
that.
the problem, is
Yeah.
it goes on for so long, it has become a segment.
I know that, but I think we want to avoid compartmentalizing everything, because then there's no breathing room. Podcast starts and you're like, and now Byte Sighs. I know what you're saying.
Let me have this.
No, but do you know what I mean? It feels like this should be the uncharted part of the cast.
It's unofficially Byte Sighs. It doesn't have to
Okay, it's
be.
unofficially.
Fine, I'll use it as, like, the chapter...
Yeah, but you can
Title.
do that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to announce we're now in the segment. Byte.
Yeah.
Okay, because so like with Lost, for example, which is often the point of comparison for me.
Right.
So like in Lost, you have these groups of characters who, whenever there's like the A plot, they'll go off and on their track or expedition to resolve the A plot, and they are unofficially known by fans as the A team.
Yeah.
It's 4 or 5 characters, but that's not in show.
I see. Okay.
So maybe it's like that.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
The fans can call
So
it
I've
Byte
just given the
Sighs.
fans the name that they're
Right.
going to use
Yes.
for this segment.
Prescriptive.
Right. Okay. All right.
Well, our fans aren't going to come up with their own terminology. We're going to have to insist on it. Yeah, go on. Talk to us about the film.
Okay. Were you weren't going to do your bite size?
Well, I mean,
floaters?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Go through Eddie's first if they're a bit more.
Okay. We will talk about this film. I promise.
yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
putting it off for any reason.
I mean, the first one is just a little thing, which is to do with Coachella.
Yeah.
So
Coachella's a music festival.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I genuinely don't know if you know. No, right. So Coachella is a music festival, but an MS charity over in England. Mm-hmm.
That's multiple sclerosis.
I know, Sam. Thank you.
They are doing a at-home festival, and so
I know it's when you're not at the festival. Okay.
Music festival is a thing where people gather and listen to. Yeah. Go on.
so they're doing a at-home festival to raise money for the charity, and they called it Coachella.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nice little
We
name.
appreciate puns on this podcast.
Yeah. So
We are the Pun
Bernie
Appreciation
Sanders.
Podcast.
It's
exactly.
a testament to that.
We are the
However, Coachella, the lawyers for Coachella turned around and told them that they had to change the name.
Right.
So it's now just the MS Trust Home Festival 2020. Because apparently not the whole word Coachella, but the Chella part is trademarked by the company that
Right.
does
Okay.
does Coachella. Which I get if other artists when I brought it up to you, P Diddy tried to do what's called Coombs Fest, and that is Coombs with an M.
I know.
With an M.
When you first told me, I did mishear and thought that he was, the idea that it's acceptable to use racial slurs if you are of that.
Yeah,
thing.
but
I thought you said something else. But it's P Diddy, Sean Coombs.
Yeah. So it was Coombs Chella is what
Yes.
he tried to do.
It's a bit unwieldy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and he wasn't allowed to. But I understand if it's an artist, particularly in America, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But this is a charity, not necessarily even the biggest charity in the UK.
Yeah.
No one's getting those two marks.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Copyrights are always a bitch. There's a video game that came out recently called Ion Fury. That's Ion, I-O-N.
Yeah.
It's called Ion Fury.
Ion, yeah.
The game used to be called Ion Maiden,
Oh, okay.
but the band stepped in and was like, you can't call it Ion Maiden, even though they're a band, and this was a video game, and there was no connection between the two.
So what exactly did they... was their trademark then?
Well, Iron Maiden. They said your name is too similar.
I think the whole name of Iron Maiden is trademark.
Yeah, the whole name is...
Yeah, I'm sure it would be.
But I think their ground was this is too similar and it will confuse
even
people.
Similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that Hugo Boss? That was the big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Joe Lysett?
Yeah, Lysett.
Lysett.
Yeah.
Almost.
You almost know a person.
Yeah.
Boss Beer in... It's Welsh, I think.
Yeah.
Boss Brewing.
Yeah, Boss Brewery. And they sued, didn't they?
Yeah. Prey, that's another one. There's a video game. There's a video game coming out, I think. It's in early access. I don't know if it's officially out. Called Pray for the Gods. But there's a video game series called Prey, and they sued them.
Right.
Because we own the copyright of the word pray in terms of video games. So you can't have pray. So the game is now called Pray for the Gods. And so instead of P-R...
E-Y. It's now A-Y.
No, it was A-Y. That's the thing. The game is called Prey, P-R-E-Y.
But now, okay, so
and
now,
they were
now
called Pray Pray.
So now even though it's more relevant to Pray, it's like a pun. You are pray. For
Yeah,
the
that's
gods.
the title. It's a play on
Yeah.
words. But because it was too similar to pray, they couldn't use it. So they've now spelt it Praiy. Praey. So
that's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But they've had to do it in order to dodge copyright.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
just 2 Y's or something.
Yeah.
Do you know if you're gonna do that, like?
Well, it's to fit both spellings in there, isn't it? To make it, I think to make it.
I'm just
clear.
going to throw this out there. We speak to the relevant people. We get fun trademarks.
Ironically, we're the ones to trademark. Yeah.
Because I reckon we could make some bank out of some lawsuits.
just roll up to like a children's birthday party. You can't do this.
Retrospectively, sue Richard Curtis, like 4 weddings and a fun roll. we want your bank.
Oh yeah, every funeral home in the country. I noticed your sign. You're gonna have to change that.
You promised fun. No, not acceptable. Yeah, all that is stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's an ASM artist. That's what they call themselves.
Yeah.
That I listen to called Bohem and Chella. So would she be sued on these grounds?
Depends how it's spelled.
Like that.
Chella.
CHELLA.
Technically, yes, they could do.
So dumb. It's just odd when you think of a place like Coachella or Burning Man having a team of lawyers.
Yeah.
Kind of goes against the hippie peace, love and understanding thing.
Yeah, it does.
Sellouts.
Copyright law is brutal though, because that's the problem. If you don't defend your copyrights are so rigid. There's no like wiggle room. But I think there's like a clause that says if you don't defend your copyrights, you lose the copyright.
Right.
So if Iron Maiden didn't sue Iron Maiden, then they would have lost the trademark to the name.
That doesn't make sense.
Ridiculous. You know?
That's like every single brand that's vaguely like yours, you have to proactively seek out.
I mean, it's like if you get a personalised registration plate. If you sell that car, but you don't claim the plate when you sell the car, you lose rights to the plate.
Yeah.
And then you have to buy them.
I mean, that's, I kind of understand that because the plate is now part of the car and you've sold the car. So I kind of get that.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that, like, if a video game, like, the possibility... I mean, Pray for the Gods, it's like 3 people. It's a tiny development team.
Yeah.
Whereas Prey is made by Bethesda, which is a juggernaut in the video game industry. So it is, it's the big guy picking on the little guy. Yeah. But there is a possibility that they didn't want to sue them. But they had to in order to maintain the copyright of Prey. It's ridiculous, you know?
Do you ever think any of these films... like, I don't know, let's think of an example. When Star Wars comes out, the new one in the cinema, did they release the cheaply made knockoff DVD in Tesco? That's trying to look like it's Star Wars,
Space Fighter.
Yeah. Or even like when the names are even closer than that. It's like, is this? Oh no, it's slightly different.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're ever sued?
Joker, and then they bring out the Joker.
Yeah,
which is like the
something
cheap
like
version.
That.
Yeah.
Do you think they ever sue those companies? Because presumably their whole market.
Is people who bought the DVD on accident,
right?
Basically,
yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's
that's the other problem with copyright is I think because the name is different, because the Joker is technically different to Joker, it's allowed.
But what about Iron Maiden?
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I can't quite follow.
Yeah, all that shit.
The exact, how you're supposed to conduct yourself. But,
they've speaking of Star Wars, so they were making a comic book of Rise of Skywalker, which is like an adaptation. Like
you bought for longer.
No. Well, it's now been cancelled.
Oh, good.
That was the sort of like update for that. Is that they've started cancelling some of the comics. That they're making, and that's one of the ones that they've cut. And it was just a 5-part way of extending the film.
It was just an adaptation, but with more shit.
It was probably
different stuff.
It was probably. Like an adaptation of the film, but they make a conscious effort to fill in all of the plot holes,
like a novelization.
So when you have people like us who just watch the film going, "Oh, this doesn't make sense," people can go, "Well, actually, in the comic book, they address this."
Yeah, but
to which you say, "Well, that's in a comic book."
The first part was supposed to be to do with something that happened early on in the film, and it covers up a plot to do with Kylo Ren or something like that.
Yeah.
No, properties must be self-contained. If you can't get all your answers from the property, then it's not worth your time.
So, but that was the bit on Coachella.
That's Coachella.
And then the other little tidbit I got is that they did Comic-Con at home. So there's like a couple of things that come out of that. We've had the trailer for Truth Seekers, which is the new
Nick Frost, Simon Pegg,
which I hadn't heard of at all until you brought it up today.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Never even heard of it.
Okay.
I made him watch the trailer.
Yeah, I found it on accident, basically, because it's the same with E3. I mentioned however many podcasts ago it was. Who knows anymore?
Yeah.
But I mentioned that they did instead of doing the E3 conferences, they just released a bunch of trailers online, and I think I said at the time, I have no compulsion to watch those trailers. Like at the conferences, at least you're sort of carried along by, oh, this conference is shit, and then in between you get glimpses of the games. But it's the same with Comic-Con at home. I felt no desire to look at any of the trailers or to follow any of the news. I have no idea. This is all I know. Is the Truth Seekers is
they haven't given it a release date. They've just done the first trailer.
Yeah. Did they forget to put any jokes in it, or is it just not a comedy?
It looks like you said. It looks nice. But it's going to be bad.
I think most TV does now. I think it's noteworthy if a TV show doesn't look good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There's a bare minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, Simon Pegg and Jessica at the time Hines wrote. No, at the time Stevenson, I think, wrote Spaced, which is really good. Directed by Edgar Wright. I think Edgar Wright was like a script editor rather than writing the script. Yeah. Outside of that relationship, though, I don't think he's particularly talented.
In what respect?
I think Simon Pegg is a decent actor, and I don't think he gets enough credit on that front.
He's not the best writer.
But he's not the greatest writer without Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Well, they're the lesser of two halves, the both of them, aren't they? Because you've got Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
That's
one. I like it. It's fun, but it's insubstantial.
It's an episode.
Yeah. And then you've got Baby Driver, which is very technically well done, but it's missing the heart of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Scott Pilgrim is not Simon Pegg.
Yes, but the original author was involved in that.
And another writer.
And another writer, so I think that's what bolstered him.
Right.
Whereas Baby Driver is just Edgar Wright?
Written and directed by.
Yeah. So, yeah.
His next film.
I would say, was it Last Night in Soho?
Yeah.
That'll be the teller. That'll be a teller as if he does.
Oh, if this is the trend of Edgar Wright only scripts.
Well, it's not. That's the thing. That's the point I was going to make. Is that it's written with someone else. It's him and another writer.
I see. Okay.
A young woman. I think she's young. She had no credits, and then she wrote 1917 with Sam Mendes.
Oh fuck!
And she's written Last Night in Soho with Edgar Wright, and there's another project with similar pedigree.
Right.
She's just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's got these 3 credits.
1917. It's not a writer's film.
No.
It's not a scripty film.
No.
But it's still a decent outing.
You got with Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Eddie, are you looking at what the other project is?
I'm looking up who the fuck she is.
Christy Wilson Keynes is her name.
The fuck does she think she is, coming out here and just doing all these films? She was involved in the staff team for Penny Dreadful in 2016.
Okay, so that's how she knows Sam Mendes then.
So
I think he produced that. Yeah, the trailer for Truth Seekers. It was mainly Nick Frost, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Weirdly enough, when Eddie told me, there's a trailer for a new Simon Pegg Nick Frost comedy, I pictured what Simon Pegg's hair would look like.
Okay.
And it was exactly what I pictured.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of bizarre, like a blonde kind of...
Yeah.
The other one is she is co-writing the Star Wars films with... the Star Wars film with Taika Waititi.
That's right. Okay.
Right.
She's got... Yeah.
They at least do, you get them doing, an indie project before they jump to Star Wars. You've got, what was his name?
I'm not a psychic.
You usually know these things. I usually go, what was his name? And you'll say the name. You're good at that.
Are you thinking of... Yeah, that guy. The bloke who did Chronicle. You thinking of him?
Oh, he's an example.
Yeah.
He did Chronicle, this indie film, and then all of a sudden he was doing Fantastic Four.
The pair who did Captain Marvel, I think they did Half Nelson, which is a Ryan Gosling, even indie for Ryan Gosling standards.
Yeah.
And then they did, I think, a film called Mississippi Burning, which is an indie with Ben Mendelsohn and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And then they did Captain Marvel.
I think David F. Sandberg's another example, where it was just tiny horror films.
And then Shazam.
And then Shazam.
Yeah, that is a trend. Show Me You Can Helm.
But she seems
Ryan
to have
Johnson
even...
kind of did that.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson. Yeah. Well, he did Breaking Bad before, so it was a bit...
Well, he did Brick, then a film that no one has seen, then Looper, which is big budget indie.
Yes.
And then Star Wars.
Yes.
And then we got Knives Out.
which I think is, as he was doing Star Wars, like, fuck, I need to do something good or my brain's going to turn to mush.
Yeah, I forgot my point.
That you bring up this guy who made that leap from indie.
Oh, yeah. Like David F. Sandberg and all those kind of people. But this woman seems to have missed that step. She's just doing big shit.
Maybe
now.
she's operating at such a high level. 1917 was her indie.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, you know. The trailer looks decent looking. I predict it's going to be terrible. Is Nick Frost writing it as well?
Yeah, it's by Peg and Frost.
Okay.
So Paul, that's our barometer,
and it's in
and it's that kind of vein because
realm,
it's
yeah.
It's from what I can gather, it's like Nick Frost does a YouTube show.
Yeah,
where they go hunting in like abandoned locations and stuff. I've watched a bunch of these guys who go, urban explorers, and they go to abandoned hotels and stuff.
So I've seen those.
I like that stuff. That sort of thing. Weirdly, in the thumbnail, he's wearing a hat with Smule on it.
Okay.
And Smule is the app that I use where you record songs.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. Whenever I see, like, you know, bigger projects, like reference YouTube content or web content, it's always like, oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Just cut it out, you know.
I'm assuming that Simon Pegg, they're not doing the typical we're best bros thing in it.
Yeah.
Because they would have foregrounded that, it feels like, in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Simon Pegg is someone in the world that Nick Frost is investigating. They become friends. That's nice. They're not doing that shtick.
Yeah.
But it's going to become that shtick.
Yes.
And I like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost a lot, but when they're directed by Edgar Wright.
Yeah. Then again, it wasn't that shtick in Slaughterhouse Rules.
I haven't seen Slaughterhouse Rules.
Okay. Well, it wasn't that shtick.
No, I have seen it. That's how bad it was. I have seen Slaughterhouse Rules. Yeah. Michael Sheen's good in it. You know.
Okay.
There's that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he plays the headmaster, doesn't he?
Right, okay.
But yeah, okay, so I'm going to go on to the other thing that came out
Do
of the Comic Con at home. Zack Snyder.
Snyder.
I'm going to call him Schneider for the rest of his life.
Is that
But it's not there.
Is that a Woking thing? Going shh instead of
It's just in my head. I thought he was Schneider, so it's just
okay.
stuck.
Yeah, stuck.
He came out to talk about the Justice League Snyder Cut.
Oh, joy. Okay.
In which he has confirmed that nothing Joss Whedon did will be in his version.
Right. So all of the fun stuff.
But wasn't Joss Whedon brought in to complete the film?
Yeah.
Yep. He's going to complete it his way for free.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
There are going to be reshoots. So
I don't know. But he's going to complete it his way for free, and he's going to use nothing that Joss Whedon shot because he said he would rather not make the film than use someone else's footage.
Right.
He's pure. He's a pure artist.
Yeah.
Wanker. I mean,
it's still going to be shit.
I'm going to assume then they filmed a bunch that when Joss Whedon was brought in, he's like, right, because these things weren't resolved, I've got to write different scenes.
Yeah,
I'll end it differently.
I'll reshoot and do this.
But so presumably there's a lot in the can that just wasn't used.
Yeah.
That he's now going to use. So they filmed an ending then?
I guess.
Yeah, I assume so.
So when he says he's not going to use any of the stuff that Whedon did, he's not going to use any of the footage they shot?
It says any of the footage that Joss Whedon shot.
Okay. So I'm going to assume there's nothing that Snyder or whoever wrote that Whedon filmed.
I don't know.
Whedon just filmed his own written content.
I don't know.
Yeah, with that,
when he says I'm not going to use any stuff he did, I don't know whether
I know the Justice League it's a mix of Snyder and Whedon shots. I know that.
But I don't know whether he's like, I wrote the stuff that he filmed, we're not even using that. You know? Or whether it's just the stuff that Whedon wrote.
Yeah.
I don't care. We talk about this so much.
Yeah, no. Can I would like to just...
In fairness, I think it's been a couple of episodes since we touched on that kind of content.
To give you the exact... the quote that he gave, it was, there would be no chance on earth that I would use a shot that was made prior or after I left the movie. I'd destroy the movie. I would set it on fire before I would use a single frame that I did not photograph. That is a fucking hard fact.
So Aaron Sorkin...
Was that a mistake when you said I wouldn't use any shots prior to me leaving the movie? Or does he say prior?
No, he says prior, after.
Oh, prior. I was going to say prior or after.
It was a direct
That's
quote.
all the shots.
Yeah.
No, prior, there are no shots. I will not use anything that was filmed before I started filming this film.
No. Prior to him leaving.
Prior to him leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything before he leaves and everything after he left is everything.
Is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically just his way of saying he's not using anything. Josh.
Right. Okay.
When Aaron Sorkin left The West Wing after season 4, and whenever he speaks about it now, it's always like, I wish them the best, and you know, I haven't seen any of the stuff they did, but I thought, you know, I wish them the best of luck. I think if you watch the ending of season 4 of The West Wing, which we had, George.
Yes.
There's a bit of scorched earth going on there.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's not completely fucking it up for whoever comes in next, but he's making it very difficult for them. So obviously The West Wing's about the White House and the president and all his staff. And season 4 ends with his daughter is kidnapped.
Okay.
The president's daughter is kidnapped. And because he's just not in a position to be making executive decisions, he temporarily resigns the presidency. And at that point in the show, the vice president has also resigned because of a sex scandal. And so the presidency is given to the Speaker of the House, who is a Republican, because that's the chain of succession. And that's how season 4 ends. That was his way of going, come back from that cunt.
Yeah.
Right? And it is good. It's not like done lazily or anything. It's properly well done.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
And he said that when season 5 started airing, he watched like 10 minutes and said, and I couldn't watch anymore. It was like watching someone make out with my wife. Now, I don't know how sincere that is, but at least that's Aaron Sorkin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not Zack Snyder.
It's not that, it's not Zack Snyder.
Someone who can actually take pride in his work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said that Larry David called him after he left The West Wing.
Right.
Larry David was the showrunner basically of Seinfeld. It was him and Jerry Seinfeld. And then he left Seinfeld like season 6 or something like that, and never looked back. And he called Aaron Sorkin and said, you can't watch it.
Okay.
Because it will either be great and you'll hate it, or it'll be terrible and you'll
Larry
hate
David,
it.
the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, so he then went on to do Curb Your Enthusiasm. Anyway, all that to say that Zack Snyder does not have the right to especially denigrate a superior filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And then the final thing for that was that we got confirmation of just some release date changes, which that's been a theme obviously in cinema recently.
Yeah. Is it just them assuring us things will come out? We promise.
Yeah. Will Disney have assured people that things are coming out, but Mulan has been delayed indefinitely.
Son of a bitch.
And so has the French Dispatch.
Do you know, when I went to see... Yeah, that is genuinely a disappointment.
So, they both... But it's because they're trying to work out their schedule now.
I genuinely thought the French Dispatch was going to be one of, if not my favourite films of the year. So to know that it's
I agree. I saw it and it was like
probably
original screenplay winner.
Yeah, I will love this film.
Yeah,
and it's just
not coming out.
Not coming out anymore.
Yeah, like I've said before, Wes Anderson's increasingly one of my favourite filmmakers.
Yeah.
Thing with the French Dispatch is, I would wait 3 years if it meant that it didn't come out of VOD.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's the thing, is that they push that neither of those two will come out on VOD, and that's why they're doing it, because they're trying to work out the schedule.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I remember going to see, I think it was Rise of Skywalker with my father, and they played the Mulan trailer, and then the trailer ended, and they immediately played the trailer again. So that's how keen they were for us to go see Mulan, and now it's not even coming out.
I mean, they've confirmed that Avatar's been delayed again, but
who gives a shit?
That gets delayed
that'll never
year.
come out. You know? God, do you remember when the fuck did Come Fly With Me come out?
The TV show?
Yeah.
2010?
Do you remember
2009?
Do you remember when one of the running gags with one of the characters was Avatar 2's nearly out? I can't wait to see Avatar 2. Yeah. And that was like 10 years ago.
Well, it was due originally to come out in 2014, and we're now talking of late 2021 or 22, I think it is.
Yeah.
I get that it takes so long, I guess, because of the visual effects stuff. It's not going to be good, is it? There's no way it's going to be
That's
good.
the problem,
They've
though.
shot more than one.
Like, there's 4 coming out. Yeah.
But but that's the thing. So they've shot 4, but 2 and 3 will definite in the schedule.
Yeah.
But if they're not well enough received, then 4 and 5 are just never coming out.
I mean, I'm looking at this through the prism of video games, admittedly, but when projects last as long as that, typically a lot of the time is spent just catching up to modern technology rather than making the most of it. Yeah. There's like one of the game that I think a lot of people would think of is Duke Nukem Forever, which took 13 years to come out, and most of that was them switching engines and having to update to the next generation of console. And by the time they were done with that, they had to update again and again and again.
It's not having a deadline as a writer.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
infinite redraft.
So like
It'll never
Avatar,
end.
like that's the thing. Avatar is probably going to be using effects that were cutting edge 5 years ago.
Yeah,
by the time
it'll
it comes
never
out.
end if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Everything moves so quickly technologically. And the thing is, I get that James Cameron, he's a pioneer in terms of visual effects. Like, he's invented cameras.
Oh yeah. A lot of like, you know, visual effects have come from James Cameron movies.
That's fine. I would just say then, do that for a living.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to make films and like the technological upgrade is a byproduct of that, but the films always end up being that. It ends up being that visual thing.
Yeah.
And that dates it, obviously, because Avatar looks, you know, it's not impressive at all now.
No.
Just focus on pioneer new technologies for film. Don't make films.
Or do what you used to do, like with Terminator 2.
Right.
Where you do both. You make good films and you pioneer visual effects.
I just don't get how the scripts can be so bad.
No.
At no point did a producer read Unobtainium and go, fuck you. It's like, did you bring up Good Will Hunting on the last podcast?
I think
Or the one
so.
before? Like Affleck and Damon, they got the sense that producers weren't reading their scripts.
Yeah.
The script. So they put a scene in about a very graphic gay sex scene to see if they got notes back on it, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Was that James Cameron's graphic sex scene? I'll put Unobtainium in to see if people are
oh shit, it went through. I'm going to have to do this now.
do it now.
Yeah.
Come on, like 12 years it took to make that film.
Yeah.
And the script was a dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got those. Tenet has a new date, 26th of August now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we trust it?
Well, this thing, that's the UK date.
Okay.
But it's the date they've given it now, having worked out a date, having initially postponed it indefinitely.
Right.
So this is kind of like, right, we're going for this in terms of UK, 26th, Canada's the 27th, America is then the 3rd of September. So they're giving time.
Glad to get it first.
So yeah, that's Tenet.
Yeah.
We've got
David Tennant.
It's palindrome.
We've now got confirmation that James Bond is coming out this year.
Okay. November?
So November the 12th for the UK.
Yeah.
It's the 20th for America. But they have brought that forward by 5 days.
Right.
Because everyone knew there was an announcement, because they kept talking about it, how it was possibly going to get delayed until next year. And then they went, no, it's still coming out in the UK on the same day, and it's coming out earlier in America.
What a weird thing to do. Oh no, it's not coming out next year. In fact, we're going to bring it forward 2 days just to show you, or however many days.
Yeah, you bring it forward 5 days.
What's changed? What are the rules? Because as far as I know, like Los Angeles recently went into another lockdown, I think.
Yeah.
They don't have to come out of it again. But so Conan O'Brien has been doing shows, over Zoom. But then yesterday they were back in the studio with the whole audience. And
oh right.
Yeah.
So what are the rules?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's exactly what we thought it was going to be, which is no one fucking knows, and so people just get bored. Like, let's just go back and on our heads be it. We'll take the risk.
Yeah.
You know, it's been such a clusterfuck, hasn't it?
Los Angeles could afford to lose a few people, couldn't they?
It could. Yeah, that's true.
And then the final date of any importance is
after that, nothing important will ever happen ever again.
Are you saying that because Los Angeles is a majority Hispanic city?
Oh, Sam.
I'm asking.
You stitching me up like that.
Go on, Eddie.
It's April 8th, 2022, and it is the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Does it have a title?
It doesn't, it's just Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at the moment.
Okay. Go on, George. The thing is, like, so all the Sonic news, I'm sure we'll keep doing it, we'll drip feeding it, breadcrumbing it as it happens. There's nothing to say other than it's just like a countdown. It's like the
Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock. It's like we're now at 15 minutes to midnight.
Yeah.
And then with each bit of news, there'll be one tick, 1 minute closer. But yeah, go on, George. What do you think about Sonic the
despite
Hedgehog?
your efforts, Eddie, I won't be baited.
Just because it was good.
Don't know. You're baiting me. Don't. If you want to get out of this recording session by tomorrow, you will cease your baiting.
Okay.
I mean, George, we all know you're going to go and see it in the cinema.
I'm not going to go see it in the cinema.
We were going to go see the first one in the cinema.
Yeah, and a great flood came down and stopped us. Rightly so.
Yeah.
So what's going to strike us down when we try and make you go for the podcast.
Well, aliens,
The
apparently.
Chinese or aliens, one or two.
Because that's the way we get George to do things. We got our job to do on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then George will go, oh, but I don't want to go and see it.
I'll just watch the illegal cam footage version of the film.
It's a
See it in the quality it deserves.
Which we'll have filmed.
It's a great leveraging tactic that we've all discovered, isn't it? Like if we just want the others to do something, just say it's going to be on the podcast.
I said, like, if you want me to watch something, tell me we're going to record it, and I will put it to the top of my list.
Have you watched Hill House yet?
No.
Well, then you didn't, Eddie. You don't do that.
You didn't tell me to watch it for this podcast.
I did. I said we were going to do. Oh,
yeah, but that was in jest, no?
No,
is that not in jest?
I thought that was in jest.
Okay, we'll talk about it Halloween. So just watch it for Halloween.
Okay.
Well, the next one will be out by then, won't it? Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Blind Manor.
What, the next podcast?
The next episode of the podcast. The spiritual, because it's anthology, so the next season.
Yeah. Some of the same cast.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been bristling increasingly with rage because we keep having to talk about Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It was my idea.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Keep thinking, like, fuck them, they made me do it for the podcast.
I've talked to you about.
I wasn't even on the first episode. It was great.
I know.
Yeah. I've talked to you about the show in the past, but I'd long since given up the...
I was going to try it.
Yeah, I'll never ask him.
Yeah.
I'll just bring it up. But you were like, I'll watch it. I was like,
yeah, I thought it would be good for the podcast.
I mean, to be fair, given everything that's gone on this year, it has at least given us something
to focus on.
In a way, it's sort of fortunate that we've had shit to talk about at a time when nothing was happening.
There's been no fucking films.
Yeah.
So. I don't know, yeah, speaking of films then, I'm done with mine, so George
will
finally get to the film, having brought it up 4 times.
This better be an awesome exposition that you're about to get.
Oh dear. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. Okay, so the film I wanted to talk about is Tread. Have either of you heard of Tread?
I've heard of Treads.
What's that?
There's nothing to do with this. Go on.
Okay.
I've only heard of it.
Did you just mean the word Treads?
No, there's another film called Treads.
Okay.
I've only heard of it because you mentioned it.
Right, okay. I'm going to say 2 things to you now. I'm going to ask you if you've heard of either of these things. Have you heard of Marvin Haymeyer?
No. Is he an internet person?
He's not an internet person. Okay.
Is he a nonce?
No. You got to cut that out, Eddie. That's a bad habit.
And you know he's not a nonce.
I don't know he's not a nonce.
Right. So
but I think generally
that's
a bad habit to have, Eddie.
What,
this is my girlfriend. Oh, is she a nonce?
So what's his name?
Marvin Haymeyer.
So the official position of the Funfiltered podcast is Marvin Haymeyer could be a nonce.
Well, he's not anymore. If he ever was.
Oh, he dead.
He dead.
Okay.
The second thing is, have you heard of Kildos a Day?
No.
Have you heard of Kildos a Day? No. Eddie, don't look it up. The whole point is that I'm telling you what this is.
Oh, no. I
Shut the laptop.
I was looking up Marvin Haymeyer nonce.
Just to see if he was.
Okay.
Apparently not.
Okay. No.
Does it say that he's not a nonce? Or is it just no suggestion?
Yeah,
there's no
gives you like those previews of articles at the top. It just says in like bold black, Marvin Haymeyer is not a nonce.
This is the whole theist argument: is prove that God doesn't exist. What? How?
Yeah.
Go on.
Right. Okay. The film that I want to talk about is Tread, which is a documentary about the events that involve Marvin Haymeyer and Kildos a Day.
The 2 things you just brought up.
The 2 things I just brought up. Yeah. I mentioned like a couple of episodes ago that I like joined Reddit, and I'm in like the podcast subreddits because I was going to promote Funfiltered as good as that has turned out.
As a whole.
But I've also found a podcast through the podcast subreddits called Alternative Interests. Shout out to them.
Right.
It's a true crime podcast, and they did an episode on Kildos a Day. Like you, I'd never heard of it, so I listened to the episode, and it's quickly becoming one of my favourite true crime stories ever.
Right.
I think it's like a great little story, because it is a story.
What are your favourite true crime stories?
Well, the Kildos a Day is up there. Ed Kemper isn't a true crime story.
No.
But I like, because he said that he killed who he killed.
Yeah.
And then the police started to catch wind of what was happening. So he went on the run.
Yeah.
But the police never suspected him. I don't even think they knew he was on the run.
Right.
So he just called up the police and went, I'm guilty, come and get me.
Yeah.
Like, that's fun.
Isn't he the only serial killer that's displayed contrition?
I think so, yeah. What are some of your favourite true crime stories?
Stories. I'm into my serial killers.
I think, we're all into serial killers. So well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm into cults. I like cult stories a lot.
Oh, yeah. So I think, like...
Jonestown.
I think that would count as a true crime story.
That's a story.
Yeah.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. That's quite a story, Jonestown.
Yeah.
Do you have any favourite true crime stories, Eddie?
I'm not sure I would know what classified as something I've seen.
What do you like ever read up on? Do you ever find yourself on Wikipedia reading articles about certain things?
At times.
Mine invariably is cults, killers, or something to do with World War II. Those are my three big.
Okay.
And I like American history. I love reading about the founding fathers and the Declaration of Independence and all that.
Yeah.
Those are my four big pillars.
And then they're not true crime stories, but you've got stories like that girl who was found in the water tank in the hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would be called.
I guess that's a true crime story.
Or just a true mystery?
Mysteries, yeah.
True mystery story.
Mysteries,
yeah. Like stories like that are really compelling.
Yeah.
But in terms of just a true crime story, straight up true crime story, this is becoming one of my favourites. Okay. I don't want to...
like Ted Bundy, I watched up on him.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if killers... Like, what killers do count as true crime stories, but just saying, like, oh, I like Ted Bundy.
Yeah, he's a true crime person.
But, like, I've watched documentaries on him.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, the podcast that they did on Kill Those a Day, it's like an hour and a half long. It's incredibly detailed. I don't want to do, like, a bastardized version of that on this podcast, so I'll just kind of say... I'll give a little bit of background on Kill Those a Day so that we can talk about the documentary.
Okay.
So Marvin Haymeyer, I keep saying Martin, it's Marvin.
Yeah.
Correct me if I say Martin.
Okay, Marvin.
It's Marvin Haymeyer. He was this very, very talented welder. I think he was like a welder in the military or something.
Was he a sapper?
What is that?
Mechanics in the military.
I'm going to assume he was.
Okay.
But his talent specifically was welding. He was brilliant at it. So much so that he moved to tiny town America. It was this place called Granby.
Okay.
Yeah, Granby, Colorado.
Yeah.
There's like 1,000, 2,000 people living in this town. It's a tiny town. He moved there and he basically opened like a repair and a muffler shop.
Right.
And he was like known in the area. It's like, oh, if you want like a muffler, or if you want like a, what's the thing they put on the front of snowmobiles?
A plow.
Yeah, not a plow. It's like a bar basically.
Right. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, if you know, you got to have one of Marvin Haymeyer's thing on the front of snowmobiles. Yeah. He's a wizard.
Yeah, your plow widget.
Widget, yeah. And after he moved to the town, Marvin Haymeyer started to tensions started to form between him and various people of the town. The land that he opened up his business on, I think that land, there are like billionaires who live in that town who own like a construction plant basically, and they wanted that land, but he outbid them for that land.
Right.
So Marvin Haymeyer says that after that auction, the guy came up to him and started like, you know, screaming at him. It's like, how fucking dare you? Whereas the guy claims that no such exchange ever took place. And there's a lot of that, because as these sort of circumstances continue on, where Haymeyer is doing things that he claims like, oh, the town is like fucking me over. I can't believe they made me do this. There's often evidence to show that this is sort of Haymeyer's fault. Right. So, for example, he didn't have his business. The sewer wasn't going into the mains, or the waste wasn't going into the mains. Yeah. Because that would allow him to interact with the people that he had land disputes with. Right. And he'd have to attach to their sewer system. Right. So he would dump his sewer on the land or something. So whereas he thought he was avoiding, like, oh, those people hate me, so I'm avoiding them, the town were going, you can't dump your sewage. Right. There's like a moment where he went to the bank to cash a check because I think he called up this business. He called up these people to come and look at this construction plant because he thought that the vehicles were parked on his property. It's like, oh, this is illegal, they can't do this. So they came to look at the property. Everything they were doing was up to code, but they found that everything he was doing wasn't. So they ended up fining him instead. So it's like kind of self-perpetuating comedy of errors. That's pretty much, that's pretty much what happened after he moved to the town. Right. And like the check that he took to the bank, I think it was to pay off that debt, but the check bounced. So I think his debt increased. Right. So he went to complain to the bank, and it transpired that he'd misspelt the money. Right. Because you have to write the money in as well, don't you? And he misspelt it, so the check didn't go through. So it's all of these situations that were building up over time. Ironically, snowball. If you want, yeah. Because snowmobile. Exactly. Yes, yeah. I know this story more than you, and yet you're the one making the jokes. You're taking me to school on the issue. Sorry. I don't mean to. Okay. No, it's all right.
Okay.
If it makes good podcast, then it's fine. You can't make jokes if it's my area of expertise.
I'm finding the poetry in what you're saying.
Yeah,
It takes
okay.
an outsider, I think.
Okay, all right. So yes, Marvin Haymeyer, after like a year or so of events like this happening, he's not a happy bunny.
No.
So I think what he ends up doing is he sells most of his land, most of his assets, and he buys this like massive bulldozer. He then spends years basically transforming this bulldozer into a like 60, 80 ton tank that he then drives through the town of Granby, destroying the property of everyone who has ever wronged him.
All right.
Sounds like a
Top
G.
bloke.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like genuinely like because there's it was on the news, so there's like news archive footage of the killdozer going through because it's called the killdozer.
Yeah.
I don't know if he called
I
it
had some
killdozer.
image of like the reporter, like here in the town of Granby, Colorado, and then just in the background, he's bulldozing a
buildings
house.
like like crumpling like paper under the weight of this dozer. But that's the thing. Like police officers were shooting this bulldozer with like 50 caliber rifle machine guns. No difference. Didn't make a difference. Didn't
He's gone
penetrate
truly postal.
Oh yeah.
Like they're trying to take him down.
Yeah, properly take him
Okay.
down. He was like they were placing like earth movers in his path in order to stop the killdozer. He was just pushing them over.
Right.
Like that's like he was incredibly talented welder,
Right.
and the killdozer is a testament to that. Because I think the armor was like steel plates sandwiched between concrete.
Yeah.
So it was like incredibly heavy armor. And he had like a 50 caliber machine gun on the back that he would just fire at people who were trying to take him down.
Did he kill anybody?
No.
Okay.
That's the incredible thing is that
Was he trying to kill anybody?
well, that's the thing. Some people say no.
Okay.
They think that like he only wanted to destroy the property. There are some people who genuinely see Marvin Haymeyer as like a hero is a strong word.
A victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are people who say like, oh, he was taking the system down a peg or two.
He wasn't a terrorist, he was a freedom fighter.
Yeah, the people who fucked him over, he was taking his revenge. And then there were some people saying this dude was insane. What he did was terrible.
It's the Breaking Bad complex, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I get it. I get why he's doing all that
exactly,
shit. Yeah.
And there's a lot of theories going around that he did not intend to kill anyone. He only wanted to destroy the property.
The machine gun.
That's a bit of a that suggests otherwise. Also, another interesting thing about Marvin Haymeyer is that he recorded tapes of himself talking.
Right.
I think these tapes total like 2.5 hours in length. And it's basically him. I think the idea was that a friend recommended that he record himself speaking as like for therapeutic reasons, basically. And then these tapes very quickly end up becoming him
A manifesto.
yeah, talking about what he's going to do
Yeah.
and why he's going to do it. It becomes very clear in these tapes that he's a believer in God. Because he says, like, multiple times, I don't want to do this, but God is making me do this. He talks about, for example, the shed that he modified the killdozer in, which existed long before he bought the bulldozer. The top of the roof... the top of the door frame was only just high enough to accommodate for the killdozer, so it fit, like, perfectly in the shed. So he said, like, how can that not be a sign of God? That my shed on my land just so happened to be the perfect size for me to build this machine.
Confirmation bias.
Shit like that, exactly.
Well, okay. Well, he sounds like a bit of a nutter, obviously.
A little bit.
Like, it was all sort of, maybe this man is just so at the end of his patience that people do crazy things. But when you start bringing in the God stuff and God wants me to do this, that's when it starts to get... Okay, maybe he's like there's a religious ecstasy. He
really leans into it. There's one tape in particular which really stuck with me where he talks about and this is the thing, I think this is like definitive proof that he was intending to kill people. Because he says that every now and again God orchestrates massacres to remind people not to step out of line.
Yes.
Like when people want to behave badly to others, they remember a massacre. That's why God orchestrates massacres, and that's why he's telling me to do what I need to do.
When people say God told me to do it, it's very rarely not homicide.
Yeah. God told me to knock down a shed.
Yeah.
It's not the same as God told me to raise this town.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. A, you should give Craig Charles a ring. That's the first thing, because this belongs on Road
Killdozer, yeah.
Secondly, thank God, ironically, that this dude is not a member of ISIS.
Yes. Yeah.
Or doesn't, subscribe to a larger ideology.
Yeah, that he was just a lone nutter. Because, like his... Like, we'll move on to the documentary now, because the documentary is of the events surrounding Killdozer Day. And everyone says, like, the Killdozer they'd never seen anything like it. The destruction spree ended when he was demolishing this building, and the Killdozer fell through the basement because of the sheer weight of it. So he couldn't move.
Right.
So he shot himself in the head.
He killed himself.
Right. Yeah. It took them basically 24 hours to break open the Killdozer.
Right.
That's how heavily armoured it was. Insanely well built.
Yeah.
But yeah, the documentary, the reason I want to bring it up is because whenever anybody recommends a documentary, the first thing I always ask is it a good film, or is it good because of its subject matter? I would say that Tower and Touching the Void are two examples of documentaries that are good despite their subject matter. Yeah. They are good films, period.
Right.
Doesn't matter, like, the topics are incredibly interesting and they keep you engaged, but the film is good regardless.
A good kind of taste tester is if it makes you interested in something you had no prior interest in.
Exactly, yeah. Like, everyone would be interested in the events of Tower, you know? Because it was a school student who went crazy and he was sniping people.
It wasn't a student, but it was...
it was just a guy sniping people. I think it's just
a guy sniping people from a clock tower.
Yeah, that's an interesting...
That's instantly compelling.
Yeah, exactly.
It just so happens in that case that it's also very good.
Yes, exactly. Whereas Touching the Void is two people climbing a mountain and then one of them injuring himself on the way down. Yeah. And basically not making it back. Yeah. He almost never makes it back. Yeah. Like, that's compelling because it's human struggle.
Amy... I didn't really have any interest in Amy Winehouse, but that documentary made me interested. Yeah. I Montage of Heck, I never really know because I think that's a great documentary. But I really like Nirvana.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's hard for me to tell. You know?
No, I like Nirvana as well, but I do think the Montage of Heck is a great documentary, regardless.
Really well made.
Yes. Yeah. Tread is a perfect example of the other side of the coin. It's a documentary that is elevated by its subject matter.
That's what I kind of imagined it would be.
Yeah.
You know? Because maybe part of the reason is it requires no glitz. Like, someone just telling you that story is kind of enough.
Well, I think it's very low budget. From what I could tell, because most of this documentary is either like interviews with people who are connected to the Killdozer situation, or it's slow motion B-roll of the town. Right. That's basically the entire documentary.
Do they play any of his manifesto?
Yeah, they play tapes over the top, but it's over slow motion B-roll. Right. And then like the last third, maybe the last quarter of the documentary is reconstructions of the rampage.
That's something really kind of dramatically interesting. Or like theatrically interesting is the idea of someone recording a self-help diary that becomes a manifesto.
I haven't listened to all of those tapes, but I genuinely I will do. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Just to listen because you listen to him in the documentary and he sounds just like a guy. He doesn't sound disturbed. He doesn't sound crazy. He sounds like a person. Yeah. He's angry,
but he's rational.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of witnessing the devolution, isn't it? There's that Bjorks, or Björk, however you pronounce it, her obsessed fan who ended up committing suicide. Yeah. If you watch all of his tapes, you see a man spiraling.
Yes.
You know? And it's grim, and it's morbid, and it's prurient, and it's like, maybe we shouldn't be watching this. Yeah. But that's what's compelling about it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, when's the film going to be made? That's the question. This is so cinematic.
Yes.
You know, someone's got to make the film.
Yeah. I mean, the documentary, this is not...
Someone out there.
Anyone. It could be anyone.
How much do you think the rights would be for that?
I don't know.
Not to the... I'm going to say the beyond our budget.
Probably. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, a packet of biscuits is beyond my budget. But...
Same.
Yeah, like...
Packet of biscuits, the movie.
It's just a still image.
It's that video, waffle falling over. It's 5 seconds of a waffle on a counter and then it just falls over and the video ends. It's that, but cinematic length.
Yeah. This time he gets cream crackered.
Okay, so do you recommend the documentary?
I don't think I do.
You don't?
No, because like I said,
but you recommend the podcast?
I definitely recommend the podcast. I think the podcast is better at telling the story than the documentary.
What came first for you?
The podcast came first.
Okay.
Because they mention in the podcast that they used the film as a resource for their research. So I immediately went and watched the film.
Watch this.
Yeah. And I was thoroughly let down by the film.
So the film doesn't contain any information that is not in the podcast?
No.
Nor is it worth it's not a visual spectacle.
Not really. The only thing that the film has over the podcast is it shows news footage.
Yeah, does it show the tank?
It shows the tank.
Yeah.
I mean, the tank itself was obviously dismantled after the massacre, or the destruction spree. Yeah. But what they did, in order to avoid people collecting trophies and basically, rebuilding the tank, it was like 7 or 8 different people took like pieces of it away and destroyed it in private. So there's no trace of the original tank, but they do recreate a practical version of the tank for the reconstruction, which is impressive, but then very quickly it just becomes CG.
Ah, okay.
It becomes like cheap CG and
news CG.
Yeah, and like most of the destruction are like sound cues off screen. So the budget clearly can't. It's admirable that they tried, but the budget can't accommodate for that kind of reconstruction.
Well, I love stories. Stories that are about a lone individual against the collective, in one way or another. I love stories like that, and I love stories. It's basically Taxi Driver, about isolation, driving someone into utter. In
a way. Oh yeah,
violence.
That was the other thing. He had a cabin up in the mountains by himself, and that's where he initially formulated the plan to build a killdozer. Yeah, and I think a lot of his tapes were recorded in that cabin. As well.
This was God's Lonely Man. Yeah, who then went out on. It's the end of Taxi Driver. Yeah,
definitely.
I love stories like that, so I will definitely listen to the Again, it's that thing of I've been obsessing over monologues. Yeah, is the podcast that like a person just telling you the story, or is it?
It was then, unbeknownst to the Funfiltered turds, that Eddie's microphone stopped recording. Massive apologies on our part. He is still audible. He is still picking up on my microphone and Sam's microphone, but he does sound much further away than the rest of us. So, apologies for that.
Is the podcast that like a person just telling you the story, or is it?
Essentially, yeah. It's 2 people, but yeah, one of them is sort of delivering the information to
Okay,
you.
I'm done with that then.
The idea of, say he's recording the tapes, the idea of that being a stage play to me, set in the cabin.
Yeah, just a lone individual kind of going around insane.
You see him like recording the tapes, planning it out, like he's got like a whiteboard or something in the back, just planning it out like this. Yeah, that would be fun to watch.
It's it's instantly kind of, you can see it.
Yeah, it's incredibly well, Yeah, and that's what I love about it as well, is it is genuinely a story, because like you said, it is that descent into madness. Yeah, but the thing that caps it all off for me is that in that tape where he says God orchestrates massacres, people have to do a massacre every now and again because people need to remember this massacre, so it teaches them a lesson. The day after the Killdozer incident, Ronald Reagan died. Right. And so the news was buried. That's why no one remembers Marvin Haymeyer. And that's the tragedy of it all. He did this to be remembered, and no one remembers him.
Yes.
He did it so the incident would be remembered.
It's the tragedy of him as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, not the tragedy of the situation.
Yeah, like circumstances beyond his control, basically, like this story was buried.
Here's the thing, as compelling a character as he is coming across as, obviously we don't condone anything he did or anything
No, of course not.
So it's one of those situations where, the tragedy of him as a quote-unquote character is that the whole reason he did it, it wasn't achieved. Yeah. But for the world, that's a good thing.
For the world, it's a good thing.
We don't remember.
But this is the story of Marvin Haymeyer. Marvin Haymeyer, good or bad, is the protagonist of the story. And the protagonist lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, we don't want to remember the names of high school shooters.
No, exactly, yeah.
But I get you.
Yeah.
I will. So obviously, you basically told the entire story, really, in short.
In brief, yes. So, and I do feel a little bad about that.
For spoiling it.
Because that's I think that's one of the reasons it stuck with me so much, is I knew literally nothing when listening to this podcast. Yeah. They didn't even give away that the Killdozer existed.
Right.
So it was a genuine shock. Because I thought, maybe he'll try and kill a couple of people. I didn't think he'd build a tank and destroy a town.
So we're recommending the podcast, A, to flesh it out, but B, it's a story well told?
Yes, I would say it's a story well told. They do a good job of establishing context for the story. Yeah. I think the first 10-15 minutes of that podcast is basically them just kind of talking about the town and sort of giving background on the players that will come into play in the story. Whereas the documentary is straight into it. Almost immediately, we're at the auction and Marvin Haymeyer was at this auction and this guy came over and shouted at him. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't know who these people are yet.
And that's the best kind of story, where you really don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that I've robbed it of that appeal.
Yes.
But I still recommend it. I think it's a brilliant true crime
So what's
story.
the name of the podcast?
The name of the podcast is Alternative Interests, and I believe episode 7 is the Killdozer episode.
It was then, unbeknownst to Jordan, that he erroneously claimed that it was episode 7. It was actually episode 9. I think just in a moment of mischief, my brain just supplied me with the wrong information. It might have had a couple more moments like that, actually. I think it took 12 hours to break into the Killdozer, not 24. Still a long time, but obviously a very different number. All the more reason to go listen to that episode. Episode 9, Alternative Interests. Check it out.
How many episodes of the podcast are there?
Of their podcast?
Is it been going for a while?
No, it's less than us. I think they're
right.
on like 14 episodes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's another. That's why I found it through that subreddit. So it is a young podcast.
Okay. Is it a professionally produced podcast?
Well, it's clear that it's like a startup.
Yeah.
But I think by the time you get to episode 7, it's
Okay.
I didn't have any problems when listening to it.
And one more time, name of the podcast?
Alternative Interests. Shout out to Alternative Interests.
Okay. Let's talk about Doctor Who.
Okay.
Do we have to?
We don't. We only have to do it 3 more times.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is the brawn. Okay.
Okay.
This is the anti-penultimate time. Go on, George.
Do 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 do. I don't even know what I'm doing. I get just improvising with the drum beat.
Right, I rewatched Heaven Sent.
Yeah, we'll get this out of the way first, because last podcast you dismissed Heaven Sent. You were like, nah, I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And then
Confessed.
Yeah, what was that? Because it did seem to come out of nowhere. You just went, I have a confession. I didn't actually watch it.
Well, because 2 reasons. Firstly, you were very insistent, like, no, this is great, which I don't think you've done with anything else I've dismissed.
Okay.
And you liked it as well. And then secondly, so when I didn't watch the episode, I looked up to see whether I'd missed a good one. And it was saying, it's considered one of the best episodes.
Yeah.
And I buried, it's like, but all of these episodes are like 90% plus on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Which I don't understand. It's like, so I haven't. But then when you two were like, oh no, it's really good. Like, I should probably rewatch it.
Okay.
So I did. I rewatched it.
Okay. Thoughts?
It is good.
Oh, good. Okay.
It is good. It reminded me of the game show Nightmare. I don't know if you ever saw Nightmare.
Ooh, is that like Raven? Shows like
it's
that.
It's that aesthetic.
Yeah, Shaki.
Takeshi's Castle.
Takeshi's
It's
Castle.
that era.
Yeah, that's the era.
I think it's a British game where like the contestant, I think children mainly.
Yeah. That's why I thought of Raven.
Yeah, they wear a like holographic.
Yeah, exactly.
They're blind basically, and then they're on a projector, like they're on a monitor rather, and all these graphics are projected around them. These terrible 80s graphics of like dungeons and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other contestants have to guide them, like, right, one step to the right, now pick up this thing, and they have to get them through each area of this castle.
Yeah.
So it definitely had that quality to it.
I love shows like that, like Raven and Nightmare, where they commit to the conceit of that show.
Yeah.
Like in Raven, it used to freak me out when I was younger, because during the final gauntlet, if you were knocked off the path, then the contestant would disintegrate. Obviously bad CG, but they would disintegrate, but you'd never see them again.
Yeah.
So I genuinely thought, what's happened to that kid? Like Raven's just like, oh, they will never come back. I was like, no.
In Nightmare, the typical thing is they stand somewhere for too long, the ground collapses beneath them, so they fall into an infinite black void.
Right. Okay.
I like things that are closed loop narratives, whereas I've got to unlock this puzzle to get to the next room.
Yeah.
And then you kind of circle back on yourself. I do like stuff like that. Cue Sam's Lexicorner.
Samuel. Words. Phrases. Sam's Lexicorner.
So it has a certain quality about it, this episode.
Okay.
And I did invent this term before the episode,
Right.
but there's no organic place to slot it in.
Okay.
There is now an organic place. Less organic by me pointing it out, admittedly.
Yes.
It has a Ludal quality to it. Ludal. Ludal.
Go on.
So, it means of or pertaining to games. So, literary is to book as Ludal is to game. Because that word doesn't exist. There's cinematic for films, there's literary, there's televisual.
Yeah.
There's no gamal.
And it can sort of, you're talking about stuff that obviously can jump mediums. So a video game can be very cinematic.
Yep.
A film can be very literary.
Literary.
I was going to say literal.
Yeah.
Most films are literal.
They are. Aaron Sorkin
Is a literary
literary-
filmmaker. Yes.
yes. So I think this episode has a Ludal quality to it because it is about figuring stuff out and moving on to the next location.
Yeah.
I want to say it's not ludological because I did research on this. So ludology is the study of games.
Okay.
So ludological pertains to the study of games.
Yeah.
And then ludic is being playful yourself.
Okay.
You're a playful human being. So ludal, pertaining to games.
Okay. But it's not a game, Sam.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But it's like a game.
I didn't know where to go with that.
Okay, yeah.
Words. Phrases. Sam's Lexicorner.
Right. Yeah, it's got... I think that might be... Is there anything I've got to say about Heaven Sent? Oh, it's got more mind palace action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
Spin-off shots.
full-blown proper mind palace.
Him in the
in this.
TARDIS,
Yeah.
trying to figure stuff out. Got an element of the prestige about it. Of, infinite copies of himself dying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've got a point here, but I'm not sure whether it stands. Why is he a hybrid again?
Oh, yeah, we didn't even touch on this in series 9.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. Don't even bother.
Okay.
'Cause
There's a prophecy that a being that's half Time Lord or half human.
Well, yeah, in the first story of Series 9, he's talking to Davros, and Davros asks him about the prophecy of the hybrid,
Yeah.
which states that this being is like a combination of two warrior races. The assumption being it's half Time Lord, half Dalek.
Yeah.
And then all through the season, they bring up the hybrid, in an effort to go, look, we do have an ongoing narrative, we promise.
Yeah.
The resolution of the hybrid arc is that the Doctor and Clara are the hybrid.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because of the resolution of
So the
Heaven Sent.
hybrid is two people.
Yeah. That's not a hybrid.
Which is not how a hybrid works.
That's two people.
If I have a hybrid car, I don't have a petrol car and an electric car.
No.
It's a combination of the two. But no, the hybrid is the Doctor and Clara.
I have a hybrid bollock.
Yeah.
Because the resolution of Heaven Sent is that he's the hybrid.
Yeah, that's a bit
And like, ooh, that's the big... I mean, you knew it was going to be that.
Yeah.
Because who else is it going to be? It's not going to be a random creature they introduce.
Yes, exactly.
But what did he mean even when he said that? I am the hybrid.
Well, the Time Lords, for some reason, they really want to know who the hybrid is.
Yeah.
For reasons.
Yeah.
And the Doctor is like, I'm the hybrid. But that turns out to be a lie in
It's a lie.
Hellbent.
Because the end of that episode, it implies that all of his introspection has led him to the realization that he is the hybrid. I am the hybrid.
Yes.
But that's not, he's just lying to get to them?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, well that ruins it. That doesn't ruin the episode, but that is a bit of a letdown.
There are two things in this episode that do let it down.
Yeah.
That is definitely one.
Yeah.
The other one, there's that weird moment in the beginning where he makes friends with a door. Do you remember that?
No. I don't.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
watched this one properly.
Yeah, he's running away from the Veil, which is the monster that's chasing him
like
through
the
the
Veil.
labyrinth. Yeah, the Veil is a
Yeah.
really good idea for a monster. And the fact that it's like the Doctor's nightmare as well gives it
Yeah.
an extra ooh, okay.
It follows.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
exactly. But yeah, he encounters a wooden door which won't open. So he forms a psychic link with the door.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and he says the reason no one's able to form a psychic link with the door is that they're incredibly cross.
Yeah,
And then the door just opens, and we're like, okay, I guess we just accept this.
that. The episode has the makings of Blink about it, in the sense of it's that kind of looping narrative.
It has all the hallmarks of a great New Who episode.
And Moffat at his peak.
It's Moffat at his peak. It's very small in scope, but
Yeah.
the narrative is very broad.
Yeah.
The monster is universal.
So it has the makings of that.
Yeah.
When he realizes he's repeating everything, and he gets a little bit further every time.
Yeah.
All that stuff is great. The thing that stops it short of being on the level of Blink is those kind of, what's the right word? Not contrivances. Yeah, I'll go with contrivance. The science fictional setup of it, it's not as watertight as Blink is, because that is working within the realm of like 1 or 2 rules.
Okay.
Like what the angels can do.
Yeah.
And that's sort of it. And then it's all about that message that they're recording. And
yeah.
This, because it's like the abstract castle,
yes,
it's less concrete. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting. I would have said that it's more concrete in the sense that it's playing with less, it's having to keep track of less than Blink. Like, it's one character in one place doing one thing.
Yeah, but like you said, the psychic link with the door.
Oh yeah, that's silly, but you know.
But yeah, but things like that. Bird. It's clever.
Yeah.
But it seems a bit more of a reach than the simplicity of Blink.
Right, okay.
It's a more abstract Blink, basically.
Oh yeah, it's definitely more abstract.
And it's because of that, it feels less tangibly awesome.
Okay.
But it is good.
I'd actually written down like this statement because I was expecting you to not like this episode. Okay. So I'd written out this statement of like, here's why you're wrong, Sam. Okay. I'm obviously not going to read it now because I don't need to. But I stumbled across an interview with Stephen Moffat where he talks about this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a little bit of that to you because I think it's interesting.
Okay.
It's not the whole thing. It's just a little extract in the middle. So this is from Doctor Who magazine, I think this interview came from. Getting loss and grief right in Doctor Who was on my to-do list, or on my failure list at any rate. They're both long lists, I get them muddled. The problem is Doctor Who is always about the new adventure, not the aftermath of the last one. Structurally, that's incredibly important to how the show works. So you have to make grief the centre of the story, not a hangover from last week's adventure. Grief has to be the new adventure. I thought if the Doctor loses Clara in the most horrific circumstance, a circumstance where events pass out of his control, but which are partially his own fault because he's made somebody think that they can act like him and they can't. Essentially, I was thinking, what is grief? How do I make grief the monster of the week in Doctor Who? People always talk about grief as being alone, so I made the Doctor absolutely alone. Grief comes and finds you whenever you stop or rest, so I gave him the veil. And grief is waking up with the same pain every day and trying to smash through it, so I gave him a diamond wall to punch through for the rest of time. Basically, he wore away a mountain with his tears. So that was an attempt at Aftermath, an insane sci-fi operatic version of the Doctor's grief at losing Clara and trying to move on. I can see why people would think it's a gimmicky episode. God knows I love a gimmick, but I was aiming for poetry. Tried for poetry, ended up with a gimmick. I've defined myself.
I've read that quote.
You have read that quote. Well, why did you let me fucking
I thought you built up some momentum, some steam.
Okay.
I'll let you read. I have read that.
Right.
And I agree with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grief
is the monster, if you like.
Yes. Yeah.
But what I like, it is like a Doctor Who version of being in a prison of grief.
Yeah, absolutely. I brought up when we were talking about the girl who waited. I said that speech between the two Amys, where she says Rory is the most beautiful man I ever met. Like that was the first time I'd ever heard that sentiment expressed, like that idea articulated.
Towards a man?
Well, just in general, just
the
the idea of like beauty can fade, like surface beauty can fade, but beauty from within can actually improve a person or something like that. I'm not even explaining the point well.
Yeah. No, I mean that's my relationship with relationships.
Exactly, yeah. But I was a lot younger when I watched that episode, and that idea stuck with me, and the way that idea was articulated stuck with me. I imagine Heaven Sent is going to do the same for a lot of people. Right. Just like the way that it depicts grief. And again, that line where he says, the day you lose someone is not the hardest day, at least that day you have something to do. It's all the days they stay dead. Yeah. That moment, I think, is going to be a coping mechanism for a lot of people, or at least a way for them to articulate, this is what I feel. Right. So in that sense, I think it's a very good episode. Okay. But I like as well that it's, I think you can still watch it as a Doctor Who episode. It's not all subtext. It's not all theme, I don't think. No, like I say, it's got a Ludal quality. It's both. You know? Yeah, exactly. It's a metaphor made stone. And what I really like about it is that under Moffat's, Doctor Who has sort of developed a nasty habit of telling instead of showing. It spends a lot of its time telling you how great the Doctor is. This episode shows it. It shows because the Doctor is stripped of everything and everyone, but it shows he's never, even in that situation, he is not powerless. And I think that's a great character beat in the grand scheme of the show. Yeah, that's really a moment oh yeah, this is a good character, you know? Well, it sort of feels like it won't do it because it's Doctor Who and he's gone now. But that could have been
in Breaking Bad, they said for the 4th season, because fans were disappointed that Walter White kept just losing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to lose for a whole season so that when he wins, that, like, he's on that wavelength. He's on that,
Yeah, he's basically riding that high.
He's riding that high for the rest of the show, basically, until it all goes tits up. This is the Doctor's nadir. If he can get out of this, he's invincible.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because he's there for, what, like 2.5 billion years?
4.5 billion years.
I like that they committed to that.
Oh,
They committed to it's infinity. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. That's funny, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Is that deliberate?
I don't know. Because by the time he gets out, he's at the end of the universe, basically.
Yeah.
So are they saying the universe is only going to last another 4.5 billion years?
I can live with that.
Okay.
I will live with that.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I read a bit of a datum yesterday, a fact, that, One World Trade Center,
Yep.
the new building,
Yeah.
it's 1,776 feet exactly, which is 1776 is the year of independence.
Oh, really?
So it's literally 1776.
Wow,
feet.
okay.
Yeah.
That's deliberate, right?
Deliberate.
That has to be.
I think it wasn't. It was symbolically 1776.
Okay.
But now it literally is.
Right.
That's awesome.
Oh, fair play.
That's
fair
awesome.
play to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Even more horrible when the next 9/11 happens.
Oh, Sam.
Do you know what? I hate myself for saying it. Because I was like, don't say it. Because you just end it on that nice thing.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Apparently not.
You have more to say.
I have a little bit more to say about Heaven Sent.
Go on.
You said, Sam, I think it was Gridlock, right? Where you said that the ending of Gridlock, where the camera ascends through the city as the Doctor is describing Gallifrey to Martha, that's the first time that Doctor Who felt like a show to you.
Yeah.
Heaven Sent is the last time Doctor Who felt like a show to me.
Okay.
I think that's one of the things that makes it so special.
Right.
Is that the episode sort of came out, like Series 9 is just a series of experiments basically, but they're all experiments where it feels like the show has just thrown up its hands and gone, right, let's just try anything we can to appeal
See
to
what
anyone.
sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got like the abundance of multi-part stories and the callbacks to like Genesis of the Daleks, like classic episodes. They feel like they're for the fans. Yet you've got like the found footage episode, Sleep No More, which feels like it's trying to pull in new audiences by chasing modern trends.
He loves the gimmick.
Loves the gimmick.
Yeah.
And then you've got like the fourth wall breaking before the flood and the Zygon inversion speech, where they feel like it's literal, like this show is literally demanding, begging for your attention.
Yeah.
And then along comes Heaven Sent, which is an episode where at that time I didn't think Doctor Who had the skill or even the patience to want to do an episode like that.
Yeah.
So it's all the more special for it to come along and basically be like, right, we're stuck here for now. We're going to get through this together.
Is it such things that give you hope for the future of Doctor Who?
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say, in that respect, it's actually a terrible episode because you could compare it
false
to
promise.
Yeah, you could compare it to being like trapped in like a relationship that has long since lost its magic,
Right.
like years long relationship which has lost its magic, and just when you're like, right, it's time to call it quits.
There's that one good fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe. Yeah,
I'm missing out on this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I gotta. Maybe there's hope.
Yeah.
Maybe there's hope for to recapture what we once had.
Yeah.
Which makes it all the more devastating when the next thing that it does is shove Matt Lucas and progressive politics down your throat. Because as we will now discuss in Series 10, the last person I want shoving anything down my throat is Matt Lucas.
And he would.
Well,
he's more predisposed to do it anyway.
Yes, exactly.
He's a homosexual. Before we even get to Series 10, we have a friend to whom we've previously alluded.
Oh, yes.
Who is also a Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
A very big Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
He's not very big.
No.
His fandom is...
Yes.
Extensive.
He's quite a narrow fella.
He's a small chap.
Yes. Sorry.
And
he's actually listening.
I know.
Yeah, he's the only one that does.
I told him
basically.
we talk about this.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
Well, it's him and like one other person. They're the only people who listen.
Yeah, that's true.
So, if we ever do bring this individual up again, which I imagine we will in the next few weeks with Doctor Who stuff, or in general in the future, I told him I'd invent a moniker, a code name for him.
Okay.
Because we don't name names on this podcast.
Yeah.
In the spirit of Doctor Who, this individual is, I don't think a dual citizen, but certainly has a dual resident of two nations. And so I'm going to call this individual the hybrid.
Oh, right.
So whenever we bring up he will be the hybrid.
Okay.
The hybrid pointed me towards a story, and that is the Patrick Troughton
Doctor 2, yes.
wanted to play the Doctor in blackface. Are you familiar with this?
I was not.
That's really interesting. Oh, it's a shame we didn't bring that up. Because we talk about Doctor Who in our blackface episode.
I know, that was the impetus for him to...
Yeah.
I haven't done any research or anything on it, but I'll read you... I quickly Googled an article on it.
Okay.
In 1966, character actor Patrick Troughton was poised to take over the role. Afraid of being typecast and worried that being so identified with a children's show would ruin his career, he toyed with ways of disguising his appearance. According to interviews he gave after leaving the role, his preferred method was to play the character as a sort of Captain Nemo, complete with turban and dark skin.
Oh.
Since he was white, this would naturally require him blacking up for the role. A costume method was still unfathomably acceptable in the 60s. In the end, the producer squashed his idea, asking him to instead play the character as a sort of intergalactic Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank God for the producer.
Thank God for the producer. I just think that's something worth flagging up with what's been going on recently.
Yeah, definitely. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to be typecast.
Yeah, so it was
Doctor
like...
Who is fair enough.
Yeah.
That happened. So blackface was his...
it was his solution to the...
Well, here's a question. You two, you were fans of these actors before you'd seen them in anything else, probably, right? Of the actors who played the Doctor.
Not always, but some of them.
Yeah. A lot of them. Whereas I'm coming at it from the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. I was a fan of Eccleston, and then I saw Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have they been typecast? Any of them been typecast for you two?
Well, Capaldi was in Series 8, because we said that he was doing a PG Malcolm Tucker.
But I mean typecast as the Doctor.
Oh, right, after the role.
They've gone on to do... Yeah.
Oh, I see. No, I feel like they made an effort to go in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Like, you've got Eccleston doing, like, Fortitude and The Leftovers. Which are not doctory roles.
No.
You've got Tennant doing Broadchurch, which is very not Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Jones
as well. And then you've got Matt Smith doing Prince Philip, which, again, it's I haven't seen it, but I assume it's it's not as energetic.
It's a well-behaved role.
Yeah, it's not as energetic
also
as Doctor.
Did, like,
Lost River, yeah. Terminator Genesis.
Yeah. I do feel bad for Matt. I think I brought it up in the Star Wars episode. There's like 2 major Hollywood blockbuster franchises that he was supposed to be like the main villain in. And the Genesis sequels were cancelled.
Yeah.
And he was never even put in Star Wars 9.
Yeah, he keeps missing his break.
Yeah.
Because Lost River, that ended up being kind of a flop critically and commercially.
Yeah.
But that was being kind of advertised as it's Ryan Gosling directing Drive.
Yes.
He's doing his Drive.
Yeah.
And Matt Smith was the villain in that.
Yeah.
But it was trying to do Lynch, and it was kind of a mess. But that would have been his foray into American cinema.
Oh, yeah.
But which is why Gosling has not directed.
No. I think he will. It was his university. At the time he was doing Drive and like Place Beyond the Pines and all those cool, stylish indies.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got to make my own version of this. But I look back at like the short films I wrote when I was 18, 19, and the music videos, basically. And it feels like maybe he was in that mode.
Yes.
Like, I want to do my own American surreal kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, Series 10.
Okay.
You said last week you had no notes.
Basically no notes.
What notes do you have?
Well, I don't know if either of you picked up on this, because it's a detail that's not really drawn attention to. Bill is gay.
Is she?
Yeah, I don't know if you picked up on this.
I thought she was bisexual, you see.
Oh, really?
Going into it, I thought...
Oh, this is genuine now.
Yeah, genuinely.
Oh, you genuinely thought she was bisexual?
Before I watched it, I was under the impression that she was bisexual.
No,
I feel
she
like
is
you told me that she was bisexual.
Straight up gay.
She's straight up... yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Bill, her name annoys me. Not because of its androgynous quality.
Bill Potts.
Yeah, well, Bill Potts sounds like a Roald Dahl granddad character, for one thing.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't sound like a real name.
No. Why not Billy? I know they had Billy Piper, right? So, it's a reference to that. But what's wrong with Billy? It's still kind of androgynous. Well, it is androgynous.
Yeah.
But Bill isn't an ambiguous name. Bill is a man's name.
Yes.
Why not Billy? Why couldn't they have just fucking gone with Billy?
I don't know, it's progressive or something. She's taking down the patriarchy by
it's like
appropriating a male name. I don't know.
What's the writer that created Star Trek Discovery and American Gods? Brian something. Eddie?
He did Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah. Brian Fuller, thanks. Brian Fuller. I
just want to say, because in case people think, these episodes were edited, he probably had... No. He didn't need Eddie's help there.
Brian Fuller, every show he creates, the main female role has a male name.
Okay.
So in Star Trek Discovery,
yeah,
Michael is her name.
Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think it's that thing? What does he make?
It's reminded me of that.
Why does he give them male names?
I've never heard him discuss why. It's either just like his quirk, his trademark,
Yeah.
or that like there's that little school, isn't it, of sort of J.J. Abrams, Joss Whedon, that created good female lead, like action leads and stuff like that. So it might be just part of that thinking of it's a statement.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like in the way that Buffy the Vampire Slayer starts with the typical setup of the blonde that's about to get murdered, and then they flip the table and she's the vampire.
Yeah.
It's that thing. But yeah, that kept winding me up. Billy. Let's just call it Billy. Now, I don't want to be a body fascist because God knows I am no Adonis.
Right.
But Pearl Mackie has a very distracting mouth.
Yeah.
Her mouth is distracting. Do you know what I mean? It's her lips like, I don't know what's going on there.
I'm rewatching. This sounds terrible because I'm referring to another black character, but I'm rewatching Dexter at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I say I'm rewatching. I'm watching Dexter for the first time with my mother because I came into Dexter halfway through series 4.
You came at it at its peak.
Yeah.
And then instantly followed by its trough.
Yeah. And that's what I did. I watched half of series 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So now I'm catching up on all the stuff that I've missed.
Yeah.
And the character in that, James Stokes, the rival detective that hates Dexter, he looks like he's constantly like pouting. His lips are so far away from his face.
Yeah. And that's true. He does look like he's the man that gave birth to Surprise Motherfucker. That comes from that character.
Surprise motherfucker.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So when it happened,
you didn't know
that was great. I laughed.
Season 2. If I'm correct. That happens in season 2.
No, it's the end of series 1.
Fuck!
Yeah. Okay. It happened and I laughed and Mum was like, why? He's just turned up. Why are you laughing?
A meme was just born, mother.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
But yeah, I know what you mean. It is like, that's her mouth. You notice it.
Yeah, you do notice it. So they kind of finally answered the question, Doctor Who? Dr. Mysterio?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to go with that for the rest of this, because it's like, what is the Doctor's name? And
Mysterio.
10,000 people have said, Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Doctor what? You know, the fact that someone has finally said it, even though it's not an answer, I'm just going to take it. That's his name. His name is Dr. Mysterio.
Right, okay. That is...
the Christmas special.
It is the Christmas special, but I think... is that the Spanish title for Doctor Who? Dr. Mysterio.
Dr. Mysterio.
I think that's what it is. They heard that, and obviously there's the superhero connection.
Dr. K?
Dr. K. See, K what? Yeah. So I think that's why they called it. Yeah, that was not very good, was it?
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Their superhero episode. Rubbish.
Yeah.
Rubbish. Like, I didn't like any of the episodes.
I don't know why they brought back the unzippy people from the Husbands of River Song.
Yeah.
They didn't seem like... it's like, that's a cool image, unzipping the face and sort of pulling half of it away. But that's it. They're not, like, compelling villains.
No.
In any capacity. And there's that weird, like, cliffhanger. It's like, oh, the brains have escaped to another person, and then we just never see them again.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't like any episode.
Okay.
Should I have this time?
Well, I don't love the pilot.
Yeah.
But I think it's alright.
It's the best one.
I think it's a nice reintroduction. It's called the pilot, and I assume that's deliberate.
Yes.
But it does feel like a reintroduction to the show.
It does. An internal reboot. Like, maybe not more so than the 11th Hour. Because that was style everything.
Yeah.
But kind of. In terms, it sets up like this is now the context of Doctor Who.
Yes. Like the opening shot is basically just a symmetrical wide shot. Compared to like the bombastic openings we've had before.
Yeah.
Like it opens on just a symmetrical wide shot and Bill walks into the room and you're like, oh, that's what a TV show looks like.
Yeah. And I do like the university as a base as well.
Yes.
I like that idea. I'd like if the whole show was that, to be honest.
I'm not a fan of Bill.
No.
I don't know what your opinions of Bill are, gentlemen.
I don't hate her, but I'm not a fan of her.
Okay. I don't like Bill.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea, like the reason that her and the Doctor are companion and Doctor. The reason he takes an interest in her is because when she doesn't understand something, she smiles.
Yeah.
It's like she's inviting knowledge that she doesn't understand rather than rejecting it. Mm-hmm. I think that's a very doctory thing to observe. So I think that's a really nice connection that
that's
made.
Cute.
Yeah.
I like the lectury thing.
Yeah. Again, it's a nice... that's not an angle that's been done before.
It seems like... how to express this? As if that was the original setting of the show. He's a lecturer. He's a doctor at a university.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like they're going back to an old... Because like that's your 80s, 90s show is there's a central location where all the characters work together.
Yeah.
And they go off on adventures.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It always ends back at the university.
Yeah.
You know? So I did like that. They insisted on playing the Clara music one more time.
You really got to cut that out. It's winding me up now.
Is it? Do we hear it again?
No.
Good. It's over.
Well, yeah, there's no more Clara.
Okay. Yeah, there's no more Clara in this fucking season.
Depressingly.
We got it. I like the idea of poetry and physics being the same thing. Mm-hmm. Symmetry.
Yeah, that speech, that whole like the university speech, that feels very doctory. Well, it feels very like Doctor Who is trying again.
It feels professorial.
It does, yeah.
His characterization as a lecturer is very Weinsteinian. Eric Weinstein.
Oh, right. Which Weinstein?
Yeah,
but,
well, they're both. But yeah, Eric Weinstein of poetry and physics being interchangeable.
Yeah.
And speaking in a way where they're interchangeable. I'm like, I don't know what...
Oh, is it Weinstein?
It's Weinstein. It's Harvey Weinstein, Eric Weinstein.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, so there isn't confusion to be had. Okay.
Yeah. I just kept thinking of The Tiger by William Blake.
Okay.
What immortal hand or eye could frame my fearful symmetry.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, physics and poetry.
Yes.
I don't hate Matt Lucas.
You better have a damn good fucking reason.
I don't like him in the show, really. But okay, right. Like I said, I didn't like any episode this series.
No.
So it was just crap, right?
Okay.
It's sort of like if the show is that beyond redemption, it's just funny, and so he is just the cherry on the cake.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, okay, if we're just with all reckless abandon saying fuck it, sure, Matt Lucas, do that.
Right, okay.
Matt Lucas has two facial expressions in his arsenal.
Yes.
Frowny Gormless and wide-eyed Gormless.
Yes.
The panoply of Gorm he's got going. But that thing of like, he's talking a bit confused, and then he's frowny like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
it does piss me off.
That pissed me off.
It's weird because like halfway through the season, like Matt Lucas is that for most of the series, and even though he's like another companion, he's sort of playing antagonist to the Doctor a little bit because he's trying to keep him at the university.
Yeah. He's the Skylar.
Yeah, he's the Skylar if you want. But like halfway through the season, they start characterizing him. They start playing with his characterization a bit. They like make him like, oh, I'm a bit of a badass. I'm secretly a badass, and it feels like a show. You've got examples of shows. I think South Park is a good example. You know the character Butters from South Park? Like, in the early seasons of South Park, he was just a background character. Never said anything. Now he's basically the secondary lead. Yeah. Because of the creators loved him so much and he became a fan favourite. So he now has more prominence than some of the other main characters. Yeah. And it feels like that. It feels like it's as though Matt Lucas has been in multiple seasons of Doctor Who and fans love him, so they're making him more like badass and cool and playing into what fans love about him. Yeah. But it's only within one season.
Something that I hate about shows in general is engineering breakout characters.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely what it's doing.
The whole
it wants
point
you to love Matt
of a
Lucas.
breakout character is they break out.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
Yes.
I hate so Daryl Dixon is a good example. Like he's designed to be a fan favourite.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's definitely what Matt Lucas is in this.
He's cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of you know, a non-human, though he's not human, he's a robot, right?
He is a robot. I think he was human once.
Yeah, and then he went into that thing.
Yeah, Hydroflax.
The companion, you know, someone who has to manage the Doctor. Yeah. Like you've got the companion who's discovering everything, but then the one who's always there.
Yes.
It's like, oh, Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, Mrs. Landingham from the West Wing.
Yeah.
The roll their eyes, oh, he's off again.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I got to say about Series 2.
Okay.
And the only other point being the problem with David Bradley being William Hartnell is that he isn't William Hartnell. Yes.
I mean, the show has done this before. Like in Classic Who, they had to recast the first Doctor.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Eddie, right? You, multiple times in these podcasts have alluded to that you hate the fact that the show is using... that there are actors playing characters in An Adventure in Space and Time that are also playing characters in Doctor Who. Now, I didn't want Sam to know. I wanted to keep it a surprise that David Bradley was coming back as William Hartnell within the canon of the show, rather than him being in a non-canonical special. But you gave it away, didn't you?
Yes,
You bastard.
Yes, because
He's being honest with his friend.
because I hate it that much.
But that's the thing. Like I know, like on previous episodes, it might come across as like, oh, Eddie doesn't know what he's talking about. But no, that's what you were referring to. It's the fact that David Bradley plays the First Doctor canonically and non-canonically.
Yeah, because
and he plays another character in the faculty.
And he plays another character
which is why it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Has he already been in it?
Yeah. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. He plays the dude.
And that's
yeah. I thought it was just like a weird like fan thing of I wanted to be a separation between An Adventure in Space and Time and Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Don't use any of the same actors. But no, he is just playing the First Doctor in this.
Yeah.
They do that thing where, and to be fair, it's fairly well done, where they try and blend them in that.
Oh
effect.
yeah, that's well done.
Yeah.
That's a good.
But you've shown me what you're doing. I know that's not William Hartnell.
You've pulled the curtain away. Yeah. I can't buy into this now because I know it's an illusion.
Yeah. And he does look a lot like William Hartnell, but he's not William Hartnell.
No, he's not.
So yeah, that's kind of unacceptable.
There's also, I don't know how much because I haven't seen early Doctor Who, but I've heard people complain about his characterization in that episode, in which they basically make him a misogynist and like an old fuddy-duddy who doesn't get modern times.
Yeah.
Because he says like, oh, women should be cleaning the TARDIS. And Peter Capaldi's like, no, you can't say that anymore.
There's that joke
which
that
is not.
That's not William Hartnell.
Like that might have been what William Hartnell was like.
Yeah, but that wasn't what the
that's
First
not
Doctor
what
was.
the First Doctor
Exactly.
they were reaching when they feel like, oh, he'd be out of step with the times and everything. The World War I guy, fair enough. Because he makes a joke about women. He's like, oh, if they ever blah blah, and women was like, yes, quite, and they laugh. I can't remember what the joke is.
Yeah, there's like a joke at the expense of women.
Yeah, which
And then-
I enjoy.
And then Bill says to them that she's a lesbian, and they both go, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Because that's what Doctor Who is now.
Yeah,
It's
they had the guts-
there's a lot of it. Right?
there's a lot. Yeah. If they'd had the stones to follow through with that and have the World War I guy, a dyke, and just like trying to shoot her or something.
Yeah, like when in Rome, let's just trash Doctor Who.
Yeah.
like Aaron Sorkin with the West Wing. Like they start swearing in the
fuck
final episode and calling Bill that. And
There is one other thing that there's a few things that annoy me with the series, but one thing that annoys me is that it was Moffat's last episode, so he gave Gatiss a opening credit listing.
Yeah.
Gatiss has been in the series
I know.
3 times.
Yeah.
Which again annoyed me with the casting.
It didn't annoy me because I think he looks different enough from the guy in what's the one where he's the scientist,
The Lazarus
experiment. I thought he looks different enough.
Yeah.
What is he in at another point?
That's where he's in it again.
You'll have to tell me because I'm
thought
not
he was in
entirely
one.
sure. He's written a few, obviously.
Yeah.
You've got to think from the World War I soldier's perspective.
Yeah.
She is black and a woman.
Yeah.
So it's like, and
a lesbian.
and she can vote. It's like,
And she-
but you're black. But you're a woman.
Yeah.
I don't think suffrage had happened by World War I, did it?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, they should have doubled down on all that stuff.
It's a strange final episode, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's almost as if like there's nothing to do. Because the whole episode is basically Capaldi does not want to regenerate, and that's why he encounters his first incarnation. Is because his first incarnation didn't want to regenerate, so he's sort of teaching himself. He's using himself to overcome it.
I don't. Again, if it's timey-wimey, I don't want to get into it. But they can cross paths, can't they? The incarnations.
Yeah.
So he just happens to have gone to the time.
I think so.
Okay.
I think the TARDIS probably nudged him over there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you could use a word with yourself. And then for some reason, a World War I soldier turns up.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Who very conveniently happened to be in the midst of the Christmas football game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also just so happens to be an ancestor of a classic Doctor Who character, But yeah, so they go there and there's those creatures which can manifest people who have died. And the Doctor's like, I'm going to stop your evil plan. And then he goes to visit Rusty, the good Dalek, who shows him that the villains are not evil. And the Doctor just goes, oh, they're not evil.
Yeah.
And that's the episode, basically. There's like nothing's really happening. It's not a big bombastic finale. It's almost like a whimper. It's a whimper, not a bang.
Yeah. When he turned into Jodie.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in this.
Yeah. I gotta say, I think it just happens because I'm getting through all these episodes and I know it's almost at an end.
Yeah.
And with Capaldi and everything. It's always a bit of a refresh when they regenerate.
No, I think that's a fair thing to say.
So I didn't, I was like, oh yeah, now we got
They
Jodie.
do make a big deal of the fact. They milk her reveal though, don't they?
as a woman. Well, it's the eyes first, isn't it?
Yeah, because
and the eyelashes.
You go back to like Smith's regeneration into Capaldi, where it's like he's Capaldi now, and like the regenerations before that, there's a bit of a build up, but you see their face almost immediately. Smith we saw immediately, Tennant we saw immediately.
Is there any internal explanation as to why they're different every time?
What do you mean?
The nature of the regeneration?
Well, there was that theory in Deep Breath, wasn't there? Like you said, that it's just a reflection of the Doctor's headspace.
Oh no, I don't mean that. Like I've put to rest my anxieties about, but they're the same person.
Yeah.
No, what I'm talking about is literally the transformation process. It's always the orange light and the
yeah.
But any
not really, no.
Whatever then.
Yeah, not that I can think of at the top of my head. But yeah, we see her eyes, and then there's like a camera shot behind her. Then you see her reflection.
Yeah.
And it's like really building up to her. It's like we get it. It's a woman.
I know.
It's all right. It's still the Doctor.
Do they reveal who the next Doctor is before they air those episodes?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a shame. It would be cool if they could keep it contained until...
Well, this
with Capaldi, they did an entire show.
Yeah, there was an entire like half-hour special interviewing him. Well, not interviewing him, but like building up to his review.
Okay.
And then Jodie Whittaker, it was just like a commercial they threw in during Wimbledon.
Right. Okay.
But there is a question that I want to ask you in regards to knowing things in advance. Because obviously, David Bradley was spoiled for you.
Yeah.
Get over it.
But was the return of John Sims spoiled for you?
No.
Okay. It was spoiled for us because media outlets...
It was in the trailer.
It was in the trailer, and all the media outlets were like, John Sim is back! John Sim is back!
Yeah. No, I didn't know that was coming.
How did that land for you?
Because
this is a rare opportunity, because it's a genuine, like, you didn't know. So I want to know how effective it was.
it wasn't a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
It happened, and I was like, oh, it's John Sim. I'm not going to think about how both he and Missy, whatever, timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah.
But then he didn't get an opportunity, really, to do the John Sim thing.
No, it's for the reveal.
Yeah.
Because in the episode afterwards, him and Missy don't do anything.
No, and then she dies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done. You said she doesn't come back.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the end of Missy.
So that's the end of Missy, and presumably the end of the Master. Okay. But John Sim comes back again, does he? I'll take that as a yes. Well, you've spoiled it now. I now know.
I didn't say
I now
anything,
know
mate.
to expect him.
I didn't
if
say
it was a
anything,
no,
mate.
you would have said no, wouldn't you?
All right.
Eddie, does John Sim come back?
No.
I don't know where. I
What do you
stand.
expect? What do you think now, motherfucker?
I'll just Google it.
Oh, okay.
No, I won't. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You know,
Yeah.
Any goodwill that may have been generated by it's John Sim was immediately shut down by he's doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, they weren't different enough. I guess they're going for like the Pulp Fiction couple that hold up the diner, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
What's that? The fucking Terrence Malick film? Shadowlands. No, not Shadowlands. Oh my god.
Sam doesn't know a thing.
I know. It's like a classic. Martin Sheen. And I think it's Sissy Spacek. Help.
Come on, Eddie. This is like the one moment of genuine use.
Badland, thank you. Badlands.
Yeah.
That vibe.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
But they were too similar.
Okay.
They weren't like...
Well, they're literally the same person.
I know, but, so is Eccleston and Whittaker, right?
Yeah.
That's a bad comparison because they're both northern. So, so is Smith and Capaldi. I don't know. You get the point.
Yeah, I get the idea, yeah.
They were, but she was just, she was Harley Quinn and he was Joker.
Well, it was supposed to be the moral struggle of the Master, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I will say that is one thing I do genuinely like about the season. We didn't touch on Missy at all in Series 9, because she's only in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But in those first 2 episodes, she's a hostile ally.
Yeah.
And I really like that angle. I thought that was fun for the Master. And then in this season, it's all about reforming the Master. Because there's that ambiguity about like, there's something in the vault underneath the university. What's under the vault? And then in episode 6, they just tell you with no fanfare.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess it's Missy. Thanks?
Yeah.
Why the fuck did you keep that a secret? But yeah, there's like those moments where she's, she's crying when listening to music, and she says like, I've never thought about the people that I killed before. And she's genuinely trying to meet the Doctor on the same level. I really like that stuff.
Okay.
It's a different side to the Master, because there's that, the Doctor and the Master were friends, but that's like history. They're not friends anymore. So to see them trying to tap into that friendship, I could be wrong. I don't think there are many examples of that, where you've got the typical enemy of like, you used to be my friend, but now we're not friends anymore. And then they're genuinely trying to rekindle their friendship in
Okay.
spite of their differences.
There is a lot of that.
Okay, my mistake.
No. I feel that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can point to a good example.
But it's not just the villain, like, come and join me. You were on my side once before. Like, the villain is trying to meet the hero on the hero's terms.
Right, okay. Okay.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got for Series 10, really. Eddie, what do you think of Series 10?
Yes, I'll let you talk about World Enough and Time, because you really like that episode, don't you?
I like that. Personal favourite for seeing the Cybermen, but it's because this is the Cybermen. So they were originally from Mondas. So that's like an old Doctor Who.
Okay.
I do have a question for you. This might not be the case. Is the implication that Bill is the first Cyberman? Or did I just completely misread that?
I don't know if it's the implication that she's the first Cyberman, but the first one that looks like
Okay.
her.
Right,
But
okay.
That's got the whole shebang.
Okay, alright.
Well, it's like all humans are descended from Africa, aren't we?
Oh, Sam. Oh, shameful.
Go on.
I like Johnson before he's revealed.
I obviously, watching it knowing that he is that character, it's obvious.
Yes.
I feel like it's convincing enough. Like
The accent slips at times.
at times, but I feel like you could conceivably get through that episode and genuinely not figure it out.
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to his voice enough,
Yeah.
there are times where it slips and you go, okay.
But that's the trick, isn't it? It depends on you not suspecting that anything is amiss. But we knew John Sim was coming back.
Yes.
So that's probably why a lot of people figured it out.
But yeah, so I like the Cybermen. I like the idea of the ship going, like the time being an issue because the ship's by
Yeah, that's a really good basis for an episode. A ship that is falling into a black hole, so time is moving faster at one end than the other.
Yes.
That's a good concept for an episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do
you finally like the Cybermen?
No.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Sam!
I don't dislike them. I remain unconvinced by them.
Okay.
Well, you won't like them.
This was it. This was your chance.
This was your last chance.
Yeah.
You won't like them in the future.
I'm unconvinced of their primacy.
Oh,
as a
I don't know
villain.
actually. I don't know if what's his name? I don't want to give away who he is, but like
Eddie will. Go on.
oh god, I want to say his name because his name doesn't give away who he is,
Give away his name then.
but I can't remember his name.
Are you talking about the guy that's in Adventure in Space and Time?
No, because that's something else entirely. Fuck, hang on.
And I don't know what you're talking about.
Bear with me. This is terrible podcasting.
I like the Cybermen.
Ashad. Do you think Sam would like the idea of Ashad?
I can't remember who Ashad is.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Eddie.
From Bashar al-Assad, the head of Syria.
Him.
Not him, man.
No.
No?
Would I like it?
That was my question.
Okay.
Because it's I won't spoil it.
No.
Okay.
You've got another season before we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was probably your last opportunity to like the Cybermen.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that they don't upgrade someone straight away, like they do the heart,
Yeah.
but then she doesn't get the full conversion straight away.
Yeah, this is like the Cybermen figuring out what they are. It's a work in progress. Yeah.
But yeah, I like because it's Mondas. What I didn't like, there's a point where she realizes it's Mondas, and then he goes, "Oh, it's a Cyberman, a Mondasian Cyberman." I was like, it would be more fun.
Yeah,
if
they do that. They do that like dolly shot in as he says, "A Mondasian Cyberman," and it's a bit like,
I would have much preferred it if she found out it was from Mondas and came in and told. Was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Is Mondas Mondas?
Mondos.
Mondos.
No, DAS.
Oh, is that sorry? My
Mondas.
mistake. Yeah, Mondas.
Okay. I theorize then Mondas is Spanish for world. Because I know there's a newspaper called Le Monde,
Okay.
a French newspaper, and that's the world, I think.
Okay.
Or the earth, but I think it's the world. Is Mondas Spanish for planet or world or something?
I mean, Monda is a town in Spain, and it's also the peel of a fruit.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a word called Mondas, which means to pick one's teeth.
Okay. I don't think
think
I don't think the word Mondas is, but I would argue it's derived from Mond,
Okay.
French for world. But I don't know.
Das World.
Das World.
Das World.
So the Cybermen are French.
Apparently,
Well,
in
fair
your
enough, I understand why
bizarre
they're
head
villains now.
canon, yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
The Cybermen.
A couple more small things just to round off Series 10. There's a fucking 3-parter in the middle of this series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like...
A loose 3-parter.
Well, a loose 4-parter.
Yeah, a loose 4-parter. I like how the monks look.
Same.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. These are the guys you're giving 3 whole episodes to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have made them so much better than they did. But they look cool.
Yeah, they look cool, but that's basically it.
Yeah.
Also, they kind of mix, like, I get Extremis, is that the name of the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that's in the Vatican. Monks, like, weird burnt space monks being the villain of Vatican episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then when the monks come down in, like, a pyramid, feels like we're sort of mixing iconography a little bit, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like that. That all feels very... Yeah. Don't like that at all. I hate the Eaters of Light.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the worst episodes of the show. It's so bad.
Yeah.
That's the one where it's like, are they Vikings? It's like the barbarians and the Vikings, and they're like on a mountain for the whole episode.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids.
With the crows.
The Picts.
The Picts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
The crows is awful. I don't know who came up this idea that like they pass a crow at the beginning of the episode and it's talking English, and Nardole is like, that crow's talking, and the doctor's like, yeah, they all talk.
Right.
And you just brush that off as like, oh, it's just a quirky doctor thing.
Yeah.
I will say because I know when the trailer with the crows originally came out,
Yeah.
people thought it was a raven.
Oh yes, they thought it was like a Clara.
And they thought that there was something to do
Nevermore.
with bringing back, and they didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, when you find out at the end of the episode that like the one of the main characters from that location is called Car, and the ravens are actually saying her name for the rest of eternity.
I remember you telling me about that years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, this is
where
the
we're at
level
now.
the Doctor Who is
Yeah.
operating on. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I feel obligated at this point to ask, because it's the last Mark Gatiss episode, so I have to ask you what you thought of the Empress of Mars.
It's the last one, is it?
Yeah,
That's a shame. I didn't like it.
because it's kind of
I like the Ice Warriors.
it's the thing. It's an Ice Warriors episode set on Mars, but it's got that old timey dialogue as well,
Yeah.
because it's like old British military
Sold.
men.
Victorian troops.
Yeah, so it's that weird mix of
Yeah.
sci-fi and history.
Again, it's like on the page, the bricolage of the Victorian aspect, Mars. There's a bit of Apollo stuff in there.
Yeah,
Okay, but in practice, just yeah, I just didn't think much of it really.
yeah. The Ice Queen, the Empress of Mars,
Yeah.
is just pure cringe. I can't stand her.
Yeah.
It's way too much. It's like the Rachnos, isn't it? I'm speaking like this.
Like fair play for making it a costume and makeup rather than some CG bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like Farscape.
Yeah.
You know, that era of sci-fi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Where they're talking like that. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid. Yeah. Anything else about Series 10?
I don't think so.
No.
The constant, like Bill. There always seems to be an episode where it's dealing with the fact that Bill is a woman, Bill is black, or Bill is gay. They never seem to leave that alone.
No.
And like I saw an article a while ago that actually charted how frequently the companions' race and like sexual orientation comes into the show, and Bill didn't have the highest ratio of mentions.
Right.
But for one thing, she's like only in a season, whereas all of the other companions crossed multiple seasons. And also,
She's only in the season.
yeah,
Who the fuck's the next companion?
it's all new.
Everything's new.
Everything's new.
I thought Pearl stuck around.
Oh no.
She was meant to.
I thought she stuck around and there were like a couple of additional ones.
Nope.
Oh, it's all new.
It's all new.
I know one of them has dyspraxia.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The
She
most,
was meant to be around for more than one season.
Yeah, I think that was the idea, but
Oh no, but she was meant to be. She signed on. I might be wrong on this, as far as I know. She was meant to be. She signed on, and then Capaldi went, "Oh yeah, I'm leaving." and then Stephen Moffat was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving." And I was like, "Oh." So I think that's the way it works.
Yeah,
you signed
she
on, and then they both confirmed they were going.
Just jumping ships. Like, oh fuck, what do they know?
And then because Chibnall was coming in and doing something new, it was like, yeah, sorry.
Chris Chibnall, I'm out of here. Yeah.
It's like, sorry, love, you're right.
And he weren't clutching no pills.
But yeah, I think it's the implementation of her. It's the fact that there's always a moment where a character says a thing and she goes, just so you know, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like in, I guess it's similar implementation, but like in the Shakespeare Code, for example, where Martha's like, is it alright for me to be here? I'm not exactly white. And the doctor's like, well, I'm not human. Just walk around like you own the place. And it's just like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But no, like, it matters that you have to know that I'm gay.
Well, the thing is, I've seen a lot of that recently. We've been talking about this, those kind of films and TV shows. It is irritating, the frequency with which it is brought up, but it's not as obnoxious as I thought it would be.
No.
She's not like, I'm gay, fuck you, power to the...
it's not aggressive.
No, it's just like, oh, by the way, I'm gay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, unnecessary, but at least she's not this arrogant bitch.
Yeah, she's not like that. I think one of the one redeeming thing about her is that this felt like the right time to have a companion like that. Which she's sort of like Capaldi's Donna, if that makes sense.
Right.
She's just kind of curious about everything. She's constantly asking questions. It's almost like a fan is traveling with Capaldi, in a sense. And after like Amy and Clara, who had like seen every incarnation of the Doctor and like visit him when he was a child, and Amy, who had been with the Doctor all of her life. It's nice to just have a casual companion where it's like, oh, what's space like? What's this alien about? Answer my questions, please.
It's like the university thing. It's sort of like simplifying everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, the last note about Series 10 is this sense of circularity. Because one of the very first conversations that the Capaldi and Pearl Mackie have is her telling him that he's gay. And the very last thing that Pearl Mackie says to Capaldi is that she's gay. Circularity.
She tells him that he's gay.
No, she tells him that she is gay. Yeah, sorry, hang on.
You're what?
Yeah, because she meets Capaldi and she's like, oh,
one Gallifrey we get executed for.
I mean, they went for the circularity in terms of the puddle.
Oh yeah, the puddle. Yeah, I that wasn't serious. I was joking.
No, they went for that was like we had a puddle in series episode 1, a puddle in episode 12.
It's portentous for the forthcoming Minge Fest. Those two.
Honestly, though, the fact that like he's like, oh, we don't know how we're going to get out of this, and they just get saved by a puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they could have been saved by Matt Lucas. That would have been so much worse.
He was too strong to be.
Oh yeah. He's too brave and like, what's that thing? Like, oh, that girl has a crush on you. Well, she's only human. Fuck off, Matt Lucas. Fuck off.
It's that Tarantino thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a line in Scott Pilgrim, but it's taken from Tarantino. They were at Cannes Film Festival, and someone came up to Tarantino and said, "Oh, I'm a massive fan." He said, "Why wouldn't you be?"
Yeah, exactly.
Is that it then?
That's it. We have finished Doctor Who.
Yep.
There is no more Doctor Who after Series 10.
Yes, there is.
That was the only Doctor Who. So what did you think?
It's just a protracted not canon, coda. A protracted coda from now on, is it?
Yes.
Epilogue that won't fucking end.
Yeah. No more Doctor Who.
Okay, shame about Series 11 and 12 we've got to watch then, isn't it?
Well, I don't know what... I mean, that's a show that pretends to be Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It calls itself Doctor Who. But it's not Doctor Who.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'll be the judge.
Okay.
On
that note, I had to hit it at the very end. See you next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you'll hear us next time.
Yes.
More people say that. See you next time. I'm not seeing anybody. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.